I must say, like the high today, I think is supposed to be 80. It's 70 degrees right now. Odyssey app, and you're going to be in Pittsburgh for the draft. And, this area that we're at is open to the public, and so you can come out and check out PNC Park. There are a couple funny things already happened since we arrived at the stadium today. Number one.
Well-known Pirates dog is what I'm behind Peter.
That's what I thought as well. So then we get to our broadcast location. We then finally go look at the field because I haven't been to this ballpark. I wanted to see the park. It's beautiful. And all of a sudden you go and you look down at the field and the dog's on the field as well. I'm like, wow, 965. You'll then see we pan to the Jumbotron and it says, "Welcome, Kirk and Peter Herbstreit."
Let's go.
It's his dog, dude.
Cody's favorite dog.
It was Kirk Herbstreit's dog. This security guard completely bypassed in the middle what he was doing, Drew, just so we could go say hi.
Hey, Peter's a celebrity, Yeah.
Look.
We had our one chance to pet Peter, man, and we blew it.
Should have gone up. We should have.
Because he's not like his other dogs.
It is kind of crazy, the welcome that Kirk and the dog get wherever they go. I mean, they just got a private tour of PNC Park, and the dog was out on that field for a long time. I'm a little worried about urination and
if I were the grounds crew, I'd have some questions about, like, how are we monitoring?
Although I guess the players are spitting and everything. Now, they're not normally, urinating on the outfield.
I would hope not. That would make national news, I believe, if that took place.
I mean.
So, yeah, just automatically, I was just like, I just thought it was like a dog that Pirates fans knew.
Yeah.
Or like Park, I guess.
Well, right here, I'll be honest, so far, now we are not right at the draft experience today. We're just adjacent to it. I have not seen a Chiefs jersey yet. And I was talking to the morning show guys about this too, and look, we will see some here at some point, but I don't know if this is the draft at a point now, you guys can text in, where you're making a point to travel to a city, and is that city going to be Pittsburgh for the draft if you're a Chiefs fan? We've seen Packers fans, we've seen Cowboys fans, we've seen Jets fans already, a bunch of Jets fans, obviously.
I saw some Seahawks fans yelling at some Bears fans this morning on our walk.
That is true. So I don't know. I mean, Chiefs fans to this point, I have not seen a whole lot. We'll keep an eye on it. We'll let you know and continue to follow our social channels. But, yeah, it's a beautiful ballpark, but it was funny to see the welcome sign for Kirk. And
one of the very first texts said, "Did Cody get his ass kicked for trying to talk yin?"
Well,
in a local Pittsburgh bar.
Well,
I'll tell you right now, we have the prime candidate. If you want me to get my ass kicked, we have and I do mean the prime candidate, steps from our Airbnb. It is called Lou's Little Corner Bar. They have a sign proudly saying that they still allow smokers. They LOUSERS. Everyone, I swear to God, if we walked in that place, everyone would look at us like, who are these two jerks? And what are they doing in our bar? And do we have to kick their ass? Not even for saying anything, just for stepping
showing
foot
up
in that place. Just for physically. Look it up, Drew. Look up Lou's Little Corner Bar, and you tell me that that's not the place that I'm going to get beat up if I try to go talk yin.
Yeah, it definitely would be the spot. And we will, a little bit later on this hour, get to the place we did go last night. And I love what transpired. I absolutely love what transpired we were there for an hour and a half or 2 hours, but the way the bartender interacted initially with Cody after I clearly was asking a question to Cody about a drink, I mean, it made my night. I love the entire sequence. So we'll get to that in a bit. I will point out, before we get into some draft stuff here, I promise, we'll get to ultimately how we're feeling heading in. We of course have been Ubering around a little bit. We don't have a rental car or anything, so we're Ubering. And we're 12 minutes from downtown, 15 minutes from downtown. So we've been Ubering.
Not bad.
Not bad. It's also a pretty, the area down here now is very walkable. We walked across the Clemente Bridge, and it's honestly, it's beautiful. It's an awesome setup. I think so far they've done a great job with just some of the events that they have planned around the city. But we took an Uber, and everybody is like Kansas City. Whoever you talk to, everybody's diehard sports fan, which is what you've heard a lot about Pittsburgh being that same way as Kansas City, where everybody's passionate about their sports.
Yes.
So every single Uber driver we have had, of course, asks, "What are you here for?" We say the draft, and we get into a pretty good conversation about the Chiefs or the Steelers, okay? And so I can't remember her name, the Uber driver last night.
Oh, I can't remember.
And we're just talking about the Steelers, and she's like, "Yeah, I don't want Rodgers back." I'm like, "Yeah, that seems like you guys are going to be right back where you were last year." I go, "Can't believe you hired Mike McCarthy. Seems pretty safe. Going to be like 9 or 10 wins again." And she goes, "Excuse me?" She goes, Don't make me stop this car right here. I almost, and she
And then Alex continued.
I did.
She said, are you going to keep saying it after I threatened to kick you out of the car? He went on to be like trying to defend his positioning on why he doesn't like McCarthy rather than move on.
I mean, I think it's a safe hire. I think it was a good hire. I was honest, and she threatened to 1-star review me.
Did
and
she?
kick me out of the – I don't think so. I haven't looked.
No.
Did she 1-star review?
I haven't looked.
It would honestly be funnier if she had.
I wasn't being rude. We were talking sports, and I was giving my opinion. She said,
She didn't want to hear
what do
your
you
opinion
think
on Mike
about
McCarthy.
what are the Steelers going to do in the draft? I said they should draft a quarterback. She's like, yeah, I agree. And then I said, Mike McCarthy. I was like, come on. Because our first Uber driver was talking trash on McCarthy.
Yeah, I know.
So I thought it was safe to do so
Well,
here.
especially because, the first two Uber drivers essentially did nothing but, say, we don't want Aaron Rodgers. That guy's a diva. Not interested. So when we got – and those two did not like Mike McCarthy. And so by the time we got to her, we're like, okay, 3 things we know we can talk about with any Pittsburgh fan. They like Paul Skeens, but they think he's going to be a Yankee. They don't like Aaron Rodgers. And to that point, it had established that they also did not like Mike McCarthy. Until we got to her, she likes Mike McCarthy, and we should have you should have treaded more lightly with
It's
that.
all right. We did not get kicked out. It all turned out. So but we can get into some other things that happened yesterday and what we're planning on a little bit later on today, as now we're starting to see more and more fans make their way in front of us. Drew, you'll be happy. I spotted our first Cincinnati Bengals
Let's
fan.
go.
Wearing a Jamar Chase jersey.
Yeah,
I don't know if he has his hopes up as much as you do or not, but he just walked by the table. All right, where are we at now, guys? Because we are on draft day. We've been talking for months about ultimately what is going to happen tonight. Pick 9, pick 29 for Kansas City. And do you guys have a different feeling today? Are you buying some of the noise that is out there about
Which noise?
the trade up and trade down noise? We can get into the offensive tackle stuff again, but I saw Pelissero today, and I think Drew's got the audio of it, talking about the Chiefs maybe being the team to move up.
At 3 and 4 with the Cardinals and the Titans. Both teams, from my understanding, are open to trading. And there are other teams in the top 10 that have at least checked in on what it would take to move up. The Saints, who are at 8, are interested in moving up in the draft. The Chiefs at 9. Could that be for Arvell Reese if he's not the number 2 overall pick? Could that be for the top offensive tackle? Those would both make sense for those teams. Second trade pocket right in the middle of round 1. There's going to be an offensive tackle run. Everybody expects the Lions sitting there at 17. Everyone knows what their need is. If you want your preferred tackle and it's not one of those guys going right at the top, get above them. Go to 15 or 16. See if you can get something done.
So that was Tom Pelissero this morning, mentioning multiple teams, but also highlighted the Chiefs for mentioning Arvell Reese. And I think that's why I don't buy the trade talk, because do we think Arvell Reese is falling to 3 or 4, or 4 in particular?
No.
That's,
he might get to 3.
I think
he'll go 2, but he could get to 3.
Yeah, I just don't think that scenario comes into play. Like I told you, if they're going to trade up for anybody, it needs to be for a defensive lineman. So I would rather it be that scenario, trading up for Reese or Bailey, but it sounds like in particular Reese, who could go. I mean, Reese has been mocked to 2 most of the year.
Yes.
But we don't know exactly how that's going to play out tonight. I mean, if you're the Jets, you might want to be trying to get out of that particular spot, and the Cardinals, who may be interested in getting out of that spot as well. I don't want them trading up for a tackle. I don't want them trading up for a wide receiver, so you could at least talk me into it with a defensive lineman. But I really just don't think there's a player where it is a no doubt have to trade up and get. Is there a player like that for you?
No. There's not a single one. It's not that kind of draft. Look, the tough part of saying, do I believe the smoke is, it would depend on the last week, which day. Because there's been smoke about trading up to 3 or 4 for the last couple of days. There was, and now entered the chat has been, no, they're actually going to trade down with the Dallas Cowboys or these couple of other teams who are trying to get up, and that's where they'll go. And then there's tackle and wide receiver, and look, maybe we're all overthinking this, and what the Chiefs have done really well here is cast a lot of smoke just to take Reuben Bain. And what they want you to think is that it could be anybody but Reuben Bain, and the desperate hope that he is there at 9. Because last year, when it was Simmons, it felt like we all kind of knew that if Simmons was there, that's who it was going to be, and then there was some guessing. But if Simmons was there, it always felt like they were going to take that player. This year, I genuinely would not be surprised by Delane, Maui Noah, I guess, Tate, Tyson, or Lemon, and a million other Downs and a million others. And so, it's a difficult year, and it makes me think the Chiefs are trying to make everyone be like, I don't know what the Chiefs are going to do. And then that way they still get Bain at 9. And in the end, that is their in-game or hope or desire in the end of this, and maybe they would have to change or alter their plans depending on what was available. But I do truly believe that if Bain is there at 9, they take him.
I think so as well. The other name, though, that last week when we put out, or actually earlier this week we put out our video from a station, we were predicting not who we wanted them to take, but who we think they'll take. I still think Mansour Delane is very much in play at 9 for Kansas City. If they really are dead set on revamping the secondary the way they clearly already have to after moving on from McDuffie, Watson, Cook, etc., then I could see that being the particular pick. We'll get to some audio later on in the show from Mitch Holthus when he talked this morning with the guys about Caleb Downs, and is he actually the guy, not Mansour Delane, and is he more of a corner as well as a safety, and the selling point on what Caleb Downs can bring to the table? I just don't think they're trading up for Arvell Reese. I don't think that makes much sense for Kansas City to give up assets that are required to go as high as that, and I think what I saw today, based on the draft trade chart, what would it even take to pull off that particular trade? Well, Kansas City would have to give up pick 9, 29, and 40 to get 3, and then they would get 65 back. I don't want them to do that.
That's my nightmare. You get 3 picks in the top 40, and all of a sudden you have 1? 1?
Yeah, I just don't think they're positioned as a franchise right now. They need extra picks.
So, it's tough because, Gold, there's an argument that all of it, just like we were talking about with, different positions or running back or Love before they had signed Ken Walker and all this other stuff. If they get a top 5 NFL pass rusher, then I'm in. I really am. Then I'm in. I get it. It makes sense. But it puts so much pressure on that pick to not just be a hit. They can't be George Karlaftis. They can't be a league average, plays 12 years in the NFL, gets 8 sacks a year guy. If you give up 9, 29, and 40 to do it, they got to be an all-pro. They're going to be one of the best tackles in the NFL. Do they want to put all their eggs in that basket? If their roster was closer, I would actually say, you know what? Yeah, maybe. If they had less holes and it's just it's a season that fell apart because their quarterback got hurt, I'd say, you know what? Maybe. Maybe you take that chance, because how often will you get a chance to get yourself to 3? You can actually do it this year if you want. But the idea of giving up that amount of assets, I don't know. It's not what I want. I know that. I can tell you that much. It's not what I want.
Let me ask you this. If we were to, and the text line can chime in here, I'm curious. If you were to grade out the players, we all know the names by now that are possibilities. I think we don't have to list off the 5 to 10 names. From most aggressive, high risk to safest pick, right? That range. Where are you guys kind of stacking everybody? Because I think at the top of highest risk, the very top name is Jordan Tyson. Fair? Highest risk. Also might be highest reward. But I think
he's up there.
I think Tyson and Bain are at the top of the list of most risk.
Yeah, Bain's risky.
Doesn't mean that they can't also have the highest reward, but I think they're both the risky guys on that chart that you would have, for me personally, at the top. And then there's, of course, a bunch of guys in the middle, and then on the bottom of the safest pick, guy that I just feel like is going to be a 10-year pro, but not really worried, that's where you get Downs. That's where you get Mansour Delane. Those are the 2 guys. I think Carnell Tate falls in the middle category. I wouldn't say it's the safe pick, but it's certainly not the riskiest pick. You get into the offensive tackles. Those to me are a little bit above they're not the top, but they're a little bit above the low risk part, just because it's tackle, and it's hey, if you're going to do this, considering your track record, that tackle, if you're going to actually take a tackle at 9 and upset a lot of people, that guy better turn out to be an all-pro.
Yeah, I think so. Yes, they got to be Mitchell Schwartz is what I said. They got to be an everyday starter for 10 straight years that you have 0 questions about. What's funny about that is Mitchell Schwartz, the Chiefs' former right tackle, who knows probably something about offensive line play in an Andy Reid system, he says they don't need a tackle. So I don't
take advantage.
I'm supposed to feel like they need one?
Take advantage of the fact that you don't have to draft an offensive lineman that high this year, because you have addressed it in many years and missed and whiffed that you had to spend so much capital. If they want to take a tackle at 29, I'm not going to get upset. If they trade from 29 to 25, I'm really not going to be all that upset. But it cannot be at 9, or certainly trading up.
So this is when you said, what should the smoke you believe? I do not believe the smoke at 9. I think that is an attempt to get a team to trade up to 6 to take Fano or Maui Noah or something, and to take a tackle in front of them so they can get Bain. I do believe they want a tackle. I have changed my mind on that. And at 29, or a trade up from 29, like so they could get to 22 and they could take I don't know how to pronounce his name, Drew, but the kid from Arizona State who's getting mocked near the end of the first round a lot.
The offensive tackle you're talking about?
Yeah. Or the kid from Oklahoma, right? There's a couple of different versions or options there. I don't know how to pronounce the kid from Arizona State's name. Feels like it's got a lot of syllables. But when we're talking about it, it's like I do think a trade up from 29 might be.
Oh, Max, whatever.
Yeah.
Iron Anchor or whatever. Or something.
I don't know.
Whatever.
I don't know how to pronounce
I'm
it.
butchering the name, but yeah, okay.
And so I think that like a trade up at 29 or a tackle at 29, I do believe there's smoke there. I do actually think that they don't like Jalen Moore and they would like some competition, or at the very least, they only like Jalen Moore so much that fine, you can maybe have the job, but we have to have somebody compete with you. As you said, and we've said, if they pick one at 29, then they're definitely going to start him.
So I in the last part of that Pelissero cut, he said after that wave of the beginning of like 3, 4, and picks like that, there should be like a middle window, 16, 17, 18, where they could expect a tackle run. If the Chiefs traded up from 29 to 18, like if they wanted to tackle but they had to move up to 18, I don't know what that looks like.
For that, I'd guess.
I don't know what that looks like, but is that something that you'd be okay with, or would you rather them, if they're going to trade up that many spots, trade up for somebody other than an offensive lineman?
Yeah, it just still feels too high. Jumping up 10 picks just to get – I mean, it's better than trading up from 9, or it's better than taking a tackle at 9. I'll give you that, Drew. I just don't like – the Chiefs do not get this amount of draft assets very often, which puts them in a weird spot. Because Gold, we obviously know that there's a long history of Brett Veach trading up, so he's probably interested in doing it. Still no Chiefs jerseys, by the way, as we're sitting here at PNC Park. It's open to the public, so anybody can walk through, take a look at the park.
I haven't seen a Panthers
maybe
jersey.
Get a hot dog. Well, I've seen a Joe Burrow jersey. I saw a Greg Olsen Panthers jersey, and I just saw a guy walk by in a Josh Allen Wyoming jersey. He went throwback. It looked
saw Raiders already.
So I'm just waiting for, Raiders and Eagles. We're just waiting for the Chiefs fans to start coming in. Do you really think the Chiefs fans we're so spoiled that a trip to the draft's not worth it anymore?
I think it's...
And we just had one in Kansas City.
I think it's a combination of that, what you just said at the end, too. I think it is... Of course there will be Chiefs fans here, but I don't think it's like this planned-out trip for a majority of people to go to a draft. Because ultimately, look, we're having a ton of fun out here, and if it's in your city, you embrace it. We loved it in Kansas City, and I can tell you, listening to one of our sister stations, The Fan here in Pittsburgh, even as well, talking about this is the biggest event they said they've had in the city's history. Right, we know what the draft and the Super Bowl can be. So, the draft is their biggest event in their city's history, and they've been talking about how the city's preparations the same way we did when we had in Kansas City. Like even the bridges, right? They painted them recently to get rid of some of the graffiti. They cleaned up the city, and like everybody's talking about how beautiful the city looks. This is all I know. This is the only time we've been here. It does. It looks beautiful here in Pittsburgh. I don't think Chiefs fans, if you're going to say I'm going to spend money to go to L.A. to watch the Rams next year, I'm going to go fly to Pittsburgh for 2 days to watch somebody read a name off a note card. I don't think.
Or I'm just going to save my money for a playoff ticket.
Yeah.
Like it could be any of those things. It is interesting. I thought about Clark Hunt and the Chiefs Stadium the other day when I saw Art Rooney's comments.
Yeah.
Because Art Rooney yesterday or 2 days ago, I can't remember, the travels got me all mixed up, but when he had said, I'll be dead and gone before they put a dome essentially in Pittsburgh, right? Like we're not doing an indoor stadium while I'm the owner of this team, and was essentially like, we'll never get a Super Bowl because of that. I do really keep wondering. I feel like Clark Hunt has enough pull to potentially get a Super Bowl in Kansas City. But they've cooled it on the cold weather ones since it had gone a bit rocky for a few of those. But I do think that these new stadiums being built with a dome, like in Chicago or in Kansas City and Cleveland, I do think that those
Nashville's
teams quietly do think, well, but Nashville's not cold weather. It's not. We looked it up,
but it's a dome.
But it's a dome. And it is a newer stadium. We know that they're going to get one. The real question still for me is, will Kansas City get a Super Bowl? An actual Super Bowl?
I think so because of Clark Hunt and the relationship.
That's it.
I don't think it's 100% the way some people are saying it's 100%. I think it's a very strong likelihood, right? 80+% chance that we get one. The only question I have there is like, how long do we have to wait? Because you think about all the new stadiums that are being built. There's going to be a bit of a waiting list. Yeah. And Nashville's getting it in 2030, according to Dan Patrick the other day. So Kansas City Stadium is going to open up in, 2030? Is that right?
2030.
So you never
32, 34 maybe?
Yeah, my guess, I would say by 2037.
Well, then that was I know we'll talk downtown ballpark in a little bit, but just as a reminder, when the Royals build a new stadium, that probably means All-Star Game back in Kansas City.
Yep.
And, obviously you got to get to a World Series to play that, but All-Star Game or some of these other related events could come back,
We're going to talk more about the downtown ballpark, the news yesterday about the Crown Center location. We are broadcasting live from a downtown ballpark today here at PNC Park in downtown Pittsburgh. So I want to discuss some of the similarities that perhaps could happen moving forward. And up next, what do we actually think is happening? We've kind of gone through some of the rumors out there, but let's give our final predictions on where we're at for the Chiefs at 9-29, including any trade scenarios. We'll keep an eye on the text line. We got that pulled up as we continue broadcasting live from Pittsburgh.
You're listening to Cody and Gold.
We're going to try to tickle your tonsils.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $400 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right, turn $5 into $400 in bonus bets just for getting started. When every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action. From player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back them up, head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. They put player research right at your fingertips, so you can check those stats, those trends, the matchups, and it's all in one place so you can make your picks with confidence. It's everything you need, all in one app, so don't miss your shot. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, official partner of the NBA and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First, online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets that expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and there's a lot of reasons why you should buy from us. How about being Google's highest review rated and your first maintenance is free? Every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. You'll fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
From North, Central, South, the Ballaston Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
excellence, growth,
and harmony.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
Hey, it's Rex here with Rex Buys KC. I get it. Selling your house can sometimes feel overwhelming or scary, right? I've seen it too many times. A homeowner thought they had a deal, only to have the buyer back out at the last minute. That's not how we do business at Rex Buys KC. I'm local, I know Kansas City, and I make sure every deal actually closes like it's supposed to. No hidden fees, no showings, no last-minute surprises, just a fair cash offer and a process you can count on. We buy homes in any condition and judgment-free. So whether your house needs repairs or you just want a fast, hassle-free sale, we can make it happen. If you want certainty, transparency, and someone local who actually delivers, call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com. Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time. 816-330-6000 or rexbuyskc.com.
This wasn't how Patrick pictured himself in retirement. Instead of playing golf every day, he could barely walk because of his severe knee pain.
It hampered everything because it hurt to walk around the golf course. It hurt to swing, just pretty much hurt doing anything.
But the groundbreaking regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics changed everything for Patrick. QC Kinetics uses your body's own healing properties to help repair and restore damaged tissue in your knees, hips, back, and shoulders. No surgery, no drugs, no downtime.
The turnaround's been amazing from where I was to where I am now. I've gone from a 15 handicap down to a 7 handicap. That's because my knees allow me to play golf like I haven't been able to play probably in 15 years.
Don't let joint pain keep you from doing what you love. Call QC Kinetics today for your complimentary consultation.
Call QC Kinetics, 816-412-6299. That's 816-412-6299. 816-412-6299. Well, good morning, kiddo. I love that you're home from college. I've missed you.
Still taking your Nature-Made vitamins?
Every day. A multivitamin and a probiotic. You better be taking yours.
Still looking out for me, Mom.
I'll never stop.
Made to care for you every day. Nature-Made, the #1 pharmacist-recommended vitamin and supplement brand. Find us in the vitamin aisle, based on a survey of pharmacists who recommend branded vitamins and supplements.
And Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game. Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug! Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down. Hey! Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at libertymutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
Do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Penalties and interest are piling up every single day. Wage garnishments and bank levies could hit any moment. If you've been avoiding it out of fear, you're not alone. But waiting only shrinks your options and ramps up the stress. The truth is, the IRS settles with taxpayers every day through legitimate programs, and many qualify to reduce what they owe, in some cases by up to 99%. That's why thousands turn to helpwithirsdebt.com. They've guided over 120,000 resolution guarantee. If there's no real path forward, you get a full refund, no fine print. They even randomly select one qualifying client each year and pay off their entire IRS balance. Terms apply. Don't let another day pass. Go to helpwithirsdebt.com right now. It's fast, easy, and confidential. Find out what's possible today. Helpwithirsdebt.com. Once again, that's helpwithirsdebt.com.
Odyssey Sports Draft coverage is presented nationally by Liberty Mutual Insurance. Only pay for what you need. And by Bet365, where winning is everything. Download the Bet365 app and lock in your picks before the game begins. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in select states only.
Royals coverage brought to you by Metal by the Foot, your metal project superstore.
Who is the area's only dealer for Fronius professional welding equipment? Metal by the Foot, located in KC and Topeka. Online at metalbythefoot.com. When you need a piece of metal, remember, metal doesn't have to cost an arm or a leg, just the foot.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Back here on Cody and Gold, we are live in Pittsburgh, getting set for the NFL Draft. Coming up in about a half hour, Josh Brisco going to join us, talk more about what he thinks could transpire tonight. We're keeping an eye on the J Southland Tow Service text line. We got that pulled up even out here on 913-586-7965. Don't forget our draft coverage here on 96.5 The Fan, brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army's Civic Lunch. Great crowd already just walking by so far here as we broadcast from PNC Park. They got the concourse area in right field, or the Riverwalk area, I think is what they call it here, open. Of course, it's all Steelers fans majority, but we're still seeing some fans from multiple teams stop by as well. I must say, Cody, it looks like they have opened up right next to us, the bar and a concession stand. It's very tempting. It's very tempting as people are just hanging out right on the Allegheny River here.
I know that this would be like, but if they had, if there was a big event downtown, like at Union Station, they were going to do the Draft Gold, and then at the new Royals downtown stadium, they had it open so you could just walk around, look at the stadium, grab a beer, hang out. I know people would do it, right? Like if they got another draft down in Kansas City 15 years
sure.
from now.
Yeah, they don't normally have this open like this, but yeah, for the draft, they know people want to come check out the the baseball stadium and hang out, and might as well have it as kind of not a watch party location per se, but certainly an area for people to hang out, and that is kind of what's going on so far. So far today, I will say we'll get into some more on the stadium front as it relates to yesterday's announcement coming up in about 10 minutes or so. As downtown baseball is coming to Kansas City, we all know that it's coming to Crown Center. Some of the details with that. And what we saw from our experience even here in downtown Pittsburgh with the ballpark and some people we've talked to. So that's coming up in just a little bit. But I want to get back into Pick 9, Pick 29. We started the show with some of the rumors that are out there about the Chiefs trading up or not trading up. They're two different questions. What do you want them to do? What do you think they're doing? Right? Those are not the same thing.
9 and 29?
Predicting what they're going to do versus what you want them to do. So let me start with just at 9. We'll go around the horn here a little bit. What do you want them to do? What do I want them to do at 9? I want them to draft Ruben Bain. I think pass rusher is the number one priority. And so the reason why I'm not saying Bailey or Reese is because I don't believe those guys are really available. So that's why I would prefer those two over Ruben Bain. But I want them to draft Ruben Bain if he's there at 9. I think they desperately need somebody to get after the quarterback. We saw that happen last year. So Ruben Bain would be the name that I would kind of focus in on. What do I think they're going to do, Cody? I think they're drafting Mansour Delane. I'll stick with that one.
Oh, so you still think it's going to be a corner when it's all said and done? All right.
But I hope it's Bain.
I will say, I think in the end, I think it's Bain who they actually take. What I want them to take is a wide receiver. And I understand the risks with it. Specifically, Lemon, I think Tyson would be my 2, Tate coming in 3rd. So, of course, they'll take Tate tonight, and then I'll look like an idiot. And that's fine. But, they're not, dramatically different in quality of wide receiver. This is just about personal preference. If they take Tate, I'm not going to be upset because I do think Tyson is the one where it's it'll be maybe the most exciting and the most terrifying pick that they could possibly make because the question about whether or not he is capable of staying healthy is a more than fair one. I want them to take a wide receiver because I still don't think you have any long-term answers in Rice. I don't think you know whether or not now you have a long-term answer in Worthy. And even if you do, if Worthy takes some big step forward and you decide to pay him, you'd still be 4 full years away from paying the next wide receiver. So you'd have time to solve that problem and get that guy paid under contract by the time he came around. So I want them to take a wide receiver at 9. I think they'll take Ruben Bain, which I'm not upset about. I do think the defensive line makes sense and is a need. And I do think that all the smoke is they don't want Bain. Oh, no, we want to tackle. No, we want to trade up. We love the corners. Oh, Sadiq's so good. Look at all the wide receivers. The Chiefs love Jordan Tyson. They're saying everything but we love Ruben Bain. It's like they're trying to point the arrow in 1,000 different directions, which is why in the end, I'm predicting that that's the one they'll get. What about at 29? Because I'm convinced there it's tackle. And it might be tackle in a trade up.
Yeah.
I think they're going to trade up to 24, and they're going to take Iron Anchor, or they're going to take the Oklahoma kid who's now fallen out of who's fallen into the mid-teens.
So the only worry here, I don't need them taking wide receiver at 9, but I'll be a little disappointed if you tell me the first 2 picks, though, are not wide receiver. I would say do not believe that they will do that. I'm going to predict that it'll be a tackle at 29 or in a trade-up as well. I'll give you the bigger trade-up. How about this? See if Drew likes this name at all. Caden Proctor. Chiefs go up.
Alabama?
The Chiefs go up to 22 or 23 to get Caden Proctor. That'll be my.
So we both think tackle and it won't.
That'll be my prediction. I don't want them to do that, but that'll be my prediction. I think if they stay at 29, I want to be a wide receiver. So honestly, the grouping. I know the drops are a concern for Concepcion. The drops are a little bit of concern, but that would be a name that'd be very intriguing for me. Denzel Boston is another one, the wide receiver out of UW. So those would be 2 names I would like them to go up positionally. Defensive end and wide receiver to me are way more important than going perhaps with a tackle. Now, I told you I think corner is going to be involved somewhere tonight or early tomorrow. I would be shocked if they don't take one. I hope I'm wrong and they're not taking the corner at 9, but I get this sense that might ultimately be who they take because maybe Bain isn't on the board because the Cowboys trade up with the Saints and they take a spot right in front of the Kansas City Chiefs, and it's the Cowboys at 8 taking Bain right ahead of Kansas City.
I said that I predicted they would take a tackle. What do I want them to do at the end of the first round? Okay, so from a sports radio perspective and just a general notion of the line, there's a part of me it's like you're going to spend another first-round pick on tackle? We're doing this again? Everyone's so high paid. Everyone's such a high pick. You're going to trade up. You're going to give up 74 just to do this. So I'll be honest. I have a hard time wanting that. before that, I would want a corner. I would want a different position. But I've grown used to, or at least less sick of it at 29 because I want it's real either, and I just can't decide whether or not.
But you agree they do have to get a corner. I think with
they
one of
gotta
these
get
first three
multiple
picks.
corners. Yeah, but I also think you can make the argument that they have to get a wide receiver and they have to get a defensive end with one of the first.
See, I think now that we know the Rasheed Rice situation, I know we want to. I think they have to have a defensive end. I think they have to have a corner. Right?
I do think that those two positions, and I think they might think they have to get an offensive tackle. Whether we think they do or not, there does seem to be nothing they do exudes confidence of Jalen Moore. They didn't start him last year. They only put him in once the injuries took place. They've done nothing but flirt with offensive tackles this entire offseason and gone through the draft process where everybody thinks they're taking a tackle. There does seem to be some realness to the they're not in love with Jalen Moore part of it.
And that's why I told you I think they will take one with their second pick in the draft tonight. Drew, what about you? Where are you at with a couple of these scenarios for 9 and 29?
So at 9, I've actually changed my tune a little bit. I think they will take Ruben Bain. I think they should take Ruben Bain. I thought that they might take Tyson, but I've changed it a little bit. I think they take Ruben. I think they should if he's there. At 29, it's interesting for all the reasons that you guys were talking about. It feels like to me I think they take corner. I think they probably should take corner, but I could also see them if this is a name that we haven't really talked about, but if Omar Cooper, the wide receiver from IU, is still there at 23, 24, maybe that's
Daniel Jeremiah, as I saw, he traded up for them.
Yeah, I wonder if that's a spot that you trade up for with Omar compared to Casey Concepcion or even Denzel Boston.
Everybody will play the wire. Omar's coming. That'll be the whole thing on everybody's timeline tonight.
They should wait until 40 to take an offensive tackle, in my opinion. I think they should wait because wide receiver, corner, and edge are the three bigger needs compared to the other ones. I don't think they will take an offensive tackle because
they've taken a lot of third-round offensive tackles, and they have gotten zero.
Yeah, that's fair.
Real starters out of it.
Yeah,
I'm not saying you can't find a starter offensive tackle, but and at right tackle certainly more possible than the other. But they're really over in that, man. It's they've taken 5 Wanye Morrises, in an attempt to find a starting tackle. But that would at least give Jalen more competition. If the guy won, I think he could still win the job. I'd only probably give him a 40% chance to win the job, but he certainly could do it.
I still think the reason why it's been so hard to figure out at 9 in particular, I guess 29 as well for Kansas City, is because here we are, we're all talking about, defensive end or wide receiver or corner or offensive tackle. They really do have a ridiculous amount of options at 9 that still makes sense. We all have our preference on a position or a player, but because of where they're at with their roster, the fact that they do have 2 first-round picks, including a top 10 pick, you're seeing all this noise out there, I'm convinced as well, Cody, because they actually do have a bunch of different paths that they can go and pivot. Yes, they have their preference of, who knows, I don't know who, let's say their preference actually is Ruben Bain. But if Bain is not available, they can easily pivot to another position that makes total sense in another play. I don't think they're boxed in to anything. They also have a preference, but I think they have the luxury of multiple positions that make sense for short-term and long-term. And as we were going through it with the players, like Jordan Tyson, none of us just mentioned his name for our pick and who they think, but we know there's plenty of mocks out there with Tyson. He is the ultimate high-risk, high-reward player. Fun. He's if we're just talking about for our job tomorrow morning, the player that's fun to talk about, it's Jordan Tyson. It's not even close. Ruben Bain, I guess a little bit, but Jordan Tyson's the fun one in all offseason because he has a chance to be one of the best receivers in football. He also has the massive injury red flag that will scare the hell out of me for the first 6 weeks of the season.
Can I throw one more iron in the fire just for fun?
Okay.
Mike Florio says that the Jags are trying to get into the bottom of the first round and are dangling Brian Thomas Jr. As the piece to get themselves back into the first round. Pick 29 comes up. The Kansas City Chiefs are on the clock. They can either, and let's say they took either Bain or Mansour Delane, so they took either a defensive lineman or they took a corner. Let's just say Bain because that makes it easier. They've taken Bain at number 9. 29's on the clock. The Jacksonville Jaguars call you up, Gold. They say, hey, for pick 29, and we'll give you a third later. It's like a trade. We'll give you another pick, but it's just later. And you can have Brian Thomas Jr., yeah?
If
they already drafted Bain?
They drafted Bain.
If it's Brian Thomas Jr. and a pick, then yeah.
If it's Brian Thomas Jr. and a 4th for Kansas City Chiefs pick number 29.
If that exact scenario presents itself, sure. Remember, Brian Thomas Jr. is 23. And
that's all he is. He's only 20.
He's got 2 years left, which is it's 2 years and a club option, 5th-year option. I mean, so really you got 3 years, guys. So, yes, that exact scenario I would be interested in. He makes $4 million this year, $4.5 million in 27, and then a club option in 2028, and he'll be 26. By then, if it works out the first 2 years, you'll be looking to extend him. So 3 years of control. Yeah, are the Jags doing that, though?
That's according to Mike Florio.
Yes, I would be intrigued by that. Now, we all know that's out the window. If the Chiefs take a wide receiver at 9, then of course it's out the window. But, yeah, if their plan is, all right, Bain's there, we love it. All right, 29, we don't really like the wide receivers that are still on the board, but we know the Jags are willing to flip their wide receiver to us for our 29th pick. I'm just trying to think why the Jags would do it, I guess, is where I'm at. But
I mean, he's just reporting that they're dangling Brian Thomas as a way to get in the bottom of the first round. So,
but who are the Jags? Who are the Jags wanting?
I'd have to look back up.
It probably depends on the wide receivers in that situation.
Right. Are they going to trade Brian Thomas for pick 29 to go draft Denzel Boston? That doesn't make any sense.
This might be me being way too high on Brian Thomas Jr. and thinking it's just a scheme fit with the new head coach and Liam.
The drops last year were a major problem.
Major problem, no doubt. I would win sprint to give them pick 29 if they offered it for Brian Thomas Jr.
Yeah,
I could be wrong on that one, but I would run.
Someone from the 913 says, Gold, you're wrong. The Chiefs are boxed in at edge rusher. They made 0 acquisitions. That's why I say it's my number one priority for them. But I disagree that they're boxed in. They can take a defensive end at 9. They can take one at 29. They might be in a spot where they have to pivot to a different position at 9 because if Bain, Bailey, and Reese are gone, I don't want them reaching for a defensive end at 9.
I would be.
They can pivot to another area. I disagree. I do not think they're boxed in. I agree with you that it's the number one priority position-wise for Kansas City this offseason, and they have not addressed it. Yeah. But if you don't reach, I don't want them reaching for a defensive end at 9 because I don't think they're in a spot where they have to take a guy that we all think is projected to go 20 at 9 just because it's the position.
Guys, what would you do you think, and this is at least the way I think they have to take an edge rusher with 9 or 29, either one. If they don't take one of either of those picks, I think that's crazy. Like if they take wide receiver and then they take corner or wide receiver and an offensive tackle, I think they make a huge mistake.
Well, that means they better be thinking they got Cam Jordan in their back pocket next week.
Yeah.
They better be thinking they got Calais Campbell in their back pocket next week. Yeah. That's where we'll be having a conversation about tomorrow if they do that scenario. I'm with you. Yeah, I think one of their first 2 picks has to be it. I just don't think at specifically 9, they are not stuck on any one position.
Yeah, for sure. I agree.
Let's talk a little bit about the downtown stadium. Alex and I are broadcasting live from PNC Park.
Oh, it's gorgeous.
As you can imagine, it is a gorgeous day outside. It's a gorgeous view from the stadium. And, of course, our draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here, for wherever you are, that's the benefit of blue. But, look, we saw the news yesterday, and you and I had talked before the show on Tuesday. We're like, well, we know we have to miss the show on Wednesday because of travel. They're going to do this press conference. And before the stuff leaked out, and it was like, if they were just going to plop a stadium down at Washington Square Park on draft day from Pittsburgh, you and I were going to spend a long time on the show talking about the new stadium down at Washington Square Park. But because of the scope of what they threw out there yesterday, and because we are at a downtown park and I want to speak on it a little bit, we felt like it was worthy of talking at least a little bit of it, not saying exactly the same stuff we've been saying all the time. The new location, the new rough renderings that came out of the location, I love. I know that it's not common to have a north-facing downtown stadium to get the downtown skyline, but there are 4 other big league clubs that do it. Crown Center isn't what it used to be unless you're going there on December 1st. And so to revitalize both at the same time, to work with an iconic Kansas City family in the halls, and to be funding far more of this project than the Chiefs are funding in Kansas, I'd say it's a win. I like the design. I like the idea. I like the location. I still know parking will be a nightmare for a lot of you, but I can't say enough nice things about the setup for it. I love the idea, and I can't wait to see it in 4 years.
Yeah, I was fired up. I watched the press conference on the plane, and I think the plan that they put together, what's wild about it is, you and I were saying this as we got off the plane, if you saw this plan 2 years ago, I think a lot of the perception around everything in the vote
would have passed the vote.
Would have been so different. I understand the Chiefs were attached to it, but we all know what happened with the location changes. This was never their first plan, but it seems like a hell of a plan. Now, there's still questions I think we all have. there's still questions about ultimately even some of the financial elements, right? For sure who's covering the cost overruns. The Royals offered that on the last proposal. I'm guessing that's going to be part of the deal on this one.
I would think so.
There's still questions about overall, like the backing of the bonds and things like that. From a strictly sports perspective, a fan perspective, I love it. You and I both wanted downtown baseball. I love the idea, if in fact the conceptual rendering can pull this off, which is that you will enter at ground level the upper deck of the stadium, kind of like Dodger Stadium. That part's cool. I know the exact location of the fountains and the video board are not going to be that. That's conceptual. In fact, we all know they can't have fountains in dead center.
The batter's eye?
It's not allowed. So we all know that was just for show. But it tells you they recognize, and John Sherman has said it, fountains, Crown Vision, both going to be part of the new stadium. I'll be fascinated to see when we get more renderings that are real, that have the exterior look, and how does that blend into downtown? And is it like here? This is kind of like I don't know if it's limestone here at PNC Park, Cody. It's this lighter colored stone or brick, I guess is how I would describe it. I don't think it's limestone. But point being is what's the exterior going to look like? I'm thrilled with ultimately this particular plan. You're right about Crown Center. We all went there as kids, right? Field trips still go there, and Kaleidoscope, and back in the day, Crayola Cafe and Fritz's, all this kind of stuff, right? But I have not been inside Crown Center, and I don't have kids, so maybe that's why.
So.
I have not been in Crown Center in 15 years. Okay, I just haven't. I've had no reason to go. All of a sudden, this is going to revitalize that particular area and give people a reason to head down there, not just the Crown Center portion, but as we all know, the acreage on this is actually what they originally wanted way back when, which was what? They wanted a model after the Battery in Atlanta. Well, when we first heard Washington Square Park,
that seems kind of small.
It was a small plot of land. This plan, 85 acres, is bigger than the Battery. This allows the Royals to do what they want to do, which is not just have a stadium, but have a true destination, a ballpark district, and something they're going to have to actually do, which is do what they acknowledged a couple years ago about the extra revenue from this ballpark district.
Yeah.
Are they going to put
Turn
that
it
back
into
in
a
the
winner.
team? That's something that everybody's going to have to hold them to when we get there 4 or 5 years from now. But I love it, man. It is a true ballpark district, and I can't wait to see more of a firm plan of the actual look of everything. As you can tell, those were conceptual renderings yesterday. But
That's a
I'm
way of getting
excited.
a win. They're like, here's a fountain in center field and the Crown board. Now, look, if they're going to Crown Center with the Hall family where the crown for the stadium was designed, I'll tell you right now, I'd be stunned if Crown Vision wasn't a part of the new stadium, and I assume at this point, Gold, it will be. Like, I do understand. I really understand, and this goes back to the normal part of the public versus private financing and all this other stuff. Yeah, it stinks that owners don't just cover the full cost, and they don't have to get $600 million from the city and another like $400 million or $500 million or whatever it is from the state, right? So that public didn't have to fund $1 billion in it. But I'm telling you right now, it's a $3 billion project, and I think between city and state, it'll be about $1 billion in cost that they do it, maybe a little bit more. That's like a third of what the Chiefs are getting over in Kansas. So, like, from a city perspective, a state perspective, you're getting a pretty good deal. Like, you're not getting, like, now that's because the Chiefs got the greatest deal of all time, but, like, you're still getting an okay deal. For me at this point, because we've spent so much time ad nauseum talking about the couple things I told you I just don't want to talk about anymore, which is the parking and the public-private financing part. I just don't want to discuss those anymore because we've made it very clear our stance is on those things. The stadium design itself, the location itself, the near-downtown aspect, the idea that it's already on the streetcar line, all those things I like.
You know what's interesting as we're here in Pittsburgh for the draft and we're broadcasting from PNC Park, something that they have here in Pittsburgh, not just the downtown stadium, but I saw the rendering, right, and it had everybody was like, wait a second, the Our Lady of Sorrows Church is still there. And everybody's like, wait a second, is the church remaining?
From like the 1800s.
Yeah,
right?
the church is going to stay there, and so you're like, wow, that's interesting. Here in Pittsburgh, not by the baseball stadium at PNC Park, where the Pittsburgh Penguins play, PPG Arena, I think it is.
Yep.
Okay. If you go to the arena, they had a hockey game, not in town, but they lost to the Flyers last night. Right next to their arena is a identical looking church that has the same history.
Yeah.
And so it is not it's not the only time you have a sporting venue with a church right outside of it, but that's what it looks like it's going to happen. And they have it here in Pittsburgh outside their hockey arena.
I know, but also like the church signed off. So do I need to throw a fit for them if they're cool with it? Because that is one thing I don't think we do very well as a society, which is if the person it directly impacts is quiet on it, well, what's your problem? You know? It would, like if the church is like, nah, it's fine. Then you don't have to care for the church.
No, I'm just curious how close to the to the gate.
It's got to be right there, dude.
I looked at it here in Pittsburgh, the church that's right outside their arena. It's I don't know exactly how many feet, Cody, but it's right there. I mean, it's not far. It's basically right on top of the stadium as well. So that might end up being one of those things down the road. It ends up being almost like such a unique element into the exterior.
Something you remember about the exterior.
Yeah. Now, for the church, I'm going to guess, other than the construction initially, long term, it could be a great thing for them, just on an individual level, right? In terms of financially moving forward, with what that might bring for them and everything. So, I thought it was phenomenal yesterday, and I know that there's plenty of questions still to come, but from a sports fan perspective, definitely excited to see this finally happen. Everybody's been talking about for years, downtown baseball, and I understand it's near downtown. It's not technically right in the heart of downtown. It's close enough, okay? It's close enough to downtown and to that entire area. It's going to be awesome. I'm so excited for it.
I really am. I'm very much looking forward to it again. I like the plan. Curious to see where – I'm hoping we're still doing sports talk radio in 4 years in this town, so we'll have a chance to get to go check it out ourselves.
Someone says, why would you go to Crown Center if the Royals are there if you haven't gone in 15 years?
Because the Royals are there.
Because the Royals are there? Because there's going to be a ballpark district? Because they're going to clearly have to renovate some of Crown Center as well, which will, with a ballpark there, likely bring in new shops to Crown Center. So, I mean, I haven't gone in 15 years. The Royals going there is exactly why I might go there.
Gold will go there 15 times a year now. Like, it's, I don't know. Like, for the obvious reasons. And look, I've been a couple of times.
Just put a kaleidoscope in right field, Cody, and put a Crayola Cafe behind
My only request is, if they reopen Skies, I want to be there on opening night.
Why?
I worked there on the final day it was open as a rotating restaurant.
See, this is...
I think I should have the opportunity to go if they reopen the rotating restaurant, which they obviously do now because it doesn't point towards the stadium. It points towards a downtown building. You could see the new stadium from the rotating restaurant. If they open it up, I'd like to go for opening night.
Did you just say that you think you basically earned the opportunity?
Yes. I worked the last day there ever.
That doesn't mean that. So you think you should be at the reopening if that ever happened?
Yes.
This fits right into the conversation we're going to have to start next hour because we were at a bar last night and Cody made a comment about a liqueur that I had a question about. The bartender overheard and immediately basically shut Cody up. And it was a glorious moment for about 20 minutes of the knowledge that this gentleman had towards Cody about alcohol. We'll tell more about that story on the other side as we are broadcasting live from PNC Park, getting set for the NFL draft. So we'll tell that story, and then I do want to get into some of the odds out there, over-under on a couple players, plus Josh Brisco going to join us, of course, pre- and post-game host for the Chiefs Radio Network. That's coming up live here on 96.5 The Fan.
What's up, KC? It's Carter Jensen. You're listening to Cody and Gold on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
Whether you got hit by the severe weather a couple of weeks ago or you're worried about it this weekend, if you have roofing needs, Century Roofing is the company you want to trust. The last time when we got the hail, it was like right near us, and I'm like, I better take a look. We're still not sure. I had them do roofing repairs a few years before. Want to make sure everything's squared away. I'm going to have them come out. They were out the same day, looking at my roof, making sure that it was, I called the regular line, just like any other person. I'm like, hey, can I get in? Yep. They said, sure, we'll come take a look. And they were ready to give me the information on my roof just that moment. It was great because Century Roofing has done over 35,000 roofs in the Kansas City area for over 30 years. They know what they're doing, and that's why they can handle it. They stand behind their warranty. They warn against these door knockers who just come here and say, I'll take care of it, and then fly out of town looking for the next city to do it because they want to make sure that your roof's taken care of for a long time. My friend just last weekend was complaining about a company that did his roof. And a similar situation to that. There was a problem. It was done wrong. And then when they went to go try to get it fixed, that roofing company's nowhere to be found. So if you don't want those problems, Century Roofing is there. Plus, because of all the recent stuff, They're looking and now hiring loaders and repair technicians to apply in person or online at centuryroofingkc.com. So if you need or are looking for more work, now hiring loaders and repair technicians over at Century Roofing KC, a great locally owned company, and genuinely have gotten to interact with their owners a lot. Great people to work with as well. So if you have roofing needs, go to centuryroofingkc.com.
Hi, I'm Lacey, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company. And yes, I'm actually a jeweler. I bring dream engagement rings to life every day in our jeweler workshop. When I hand set your diamond into your ring, I think about creating a piece you'll wear for a lifetime. I pay attention to the smallest details and treat every ring with the same care and craftsmanship, no matter the size or price. Come see us in store. Shane Company engagement rings are crafted with care from our hands to yours. Because a friend wants your ring to be nothing short of perfect. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Ever wonder why Fanatics Sportsbook is America's fastest online growing sportsbook? Other sportsbooks? Well, their rewards are just the same old, But Fan Cash is the ultimate sports currency, and betting with Fanatics lets you stack Fan Cash. With Fanatics Sportsbook, you can get up to 10% Fan Cash back on your wagers, win or lose. Use your Fan Cash to unlock the world of Fanatics with unlimited profit boosts, exclusive merch, collectibles, and so much more. If you want value for bets, Fanatics will always have your back. And don't forget about Fan Cash draws. It's simple. Choose your draw and enter with Fan Cash for a shot at no sweat bets, casino credit, premium sports experiences, tickets, and more. Extraordinary prizes await. Did I also mention they are giving away millions in Fan Cash this year with games like Fan Cash Drop? Tap in every Friday and see what the fuss is all about. Switch to a sportsbook that will always give you more to play with. Download the Fanatics Sportsbook app today. Winning hits different here. Must be 21 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-MY-RESET.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Robside Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
In a world in need of a hero, one man rises to the challenge in style. He is...
just driving the kids to soccer practice.
Make every day feel epic in the all-new Hyundai Palisade Hybrid with up to an EPA-estimated 619 miles of range on select trims, advanced tech, and class-leading interior space. Visit HyundaiUSA.com or call 562-314-4603 for more details.
And hey, come on, no cleats on the seats.
My name is Christine, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, was a healthy 34-year-old, and 3 months later, he was gone. Thankfully, he had life insurance. Ethos made it so easy. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. 100% online, no medical exam. Life insurance didn't take away the loss, but it did give us the space to just grieve.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/protect. ethos.com/protect. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
The U.S. Treasury quietly released its official financial report for 2025. It appears by its own numbers, the U.S. government seems insolvent. It's reported that the Treasury shows about $6 trillion in assets and over $47 trillion in liabilities. Add it all up, and it looks like the U.S. owes more than $130 trillion it doesn't have. If that were a family, they'd earn $52,000 a year, spend $73,000, and already be more than $1 million underwater. Any accountant would call that insolvent. So how does the government fix this? It can print money, which erodes your purchasing power, it can raise taxes, or it can cut benefits. And none of those can help to protect you. That's why many people who have something to lose move part of their savings into physical gold and silver, assets that can't be printed, defaulted on, or voted away. Call Monetary Gold at 877-NOW-GOLD for their complimentary gold and silver guide and a no-pressure conversation. That's 877-NOW-GOLD. Call Monetary Gold now at 877-NOW-GOLD. Do it before the next headline, not after. factor. Performance may vary. You should always consult your financial and tax professional.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue. Join us at the Fans Draft Party at the Brooksiders.
Back here on Cody and Gold, we are live in Pittsburgh, out at PNC Park, out towards right field. They got an awesome Riverwalk area here. Fans walking by, getting set for the draft tonight. A gorgeous day in Pittsburgh. The Chiefs, of course, on the clock later tonight at pick 9, if in fact they actually don't trade that pick. I know there's a lot of noise around that. We're going to get into that in just a second with Josh Brisco, one of our Chiefs contributors, of course, the pre- and post-game host for the Chiefs Radio Network. Don't forget, even though we are in Pittsburgh, back in Kansas City tonight, make sure you check out our draft party over at the Brooksider. Everybody else is going to be there. Also, Chris and Bink will be broadcasting live this evening, getting you guys set throughout the entire draft night. I think we'll probably call back in a few times as well. We hope that if the Chiefs make a pick tonight, that individual is actually in attendance here in Pittsburgh. If so, we're expected to have a chance to talk to whoever that might be. Maybe it's Ruben Bain. Maybe it's Carnell Tate, Jordan Tyson.
Maybe it's Hood at the end of the first round.
Mansour Delay.
Could be anybody.
It could be a bunch of guys. So we appreciate you guys coming out to the draft party tonight. Let's go out to the phones, though, and welcome in Joshua Brisco. Josh, what's your feeling, though, just heading into this one about all the noise coming out this morning about the Chiefs and maybe moving up or moving down in the draft? You buying any of it?
Horrible. I feel horrible, guys. I hope you're having a good time out there. It sounds like a lot of fun. We could have done this draft 2 months ago, and we would just all be better off. Like, let's just do this right at. Let's have the Super Bowl, the Combine, the draft. Let's just shove all of it together. The last, 2 months have really made me feel like I'm losing my mind. This last couple of weeks in particular feel like something we should be better than by now, because we know that leading up to the draft, the last few things are either like desperation or total smokescreen. Look, maybe the Chiefs love Arvell Reese, and maybe the fact that it seems like he could be there at 3, maybe they think that's worth a move up, and I would understand that. But the only team that benefits from not being public right now is the Arizona Cardinals, because they're trying to get more for pick number 3. The only team that should be pumping out the knowledge that the Browns want to move back from 6 is the Cleveland Browns. So I keep looking at the same players we've been looking at for months. In a lot of ways, we started thinking about the draft before Christmas this year. They were eliminated from playoff contention. Patrick Mahomes tears his ACL, and you go, okay, well, what about the future? I know Cody and I are at least pretty well aligned, although I'm not going up any bridges, pretty aligned on the tackle conversation at this point. I settled in on Monday, and I realized that the needs this team had in December are the needs they have now. And again, if you want to be aggressive for a guy you think is a difference maker like Arvell Reese, I'm willing to have that conversation. I think that could be really fun. But for the most part, man, this is a team that needs defensive line and wide receiver help, and they need that at premium positions, and they've got the picks to do it right now. I think a lot of the smoke screens here have just really gotten to all of our heads a little bit. I'm lightheaded, and I wish the draft started in 30 minutes.
I will say, I do think that Brett Veach is going through an internal crisis, though, in the sense that when he talked about the draft, he's like, I got to start realizing everybody doesn't see the draft the same way as me. But then if somebody presents a trade for him tonight where he can go from 29 to 22, resisting the urge just is too hard for him sometimes. He's one of the few GMs who has regular success trading up, when history tells you trading down is the far more high EV success play, right? But
right.
Brett Veach typically has gotten good players with it. I guess part of it is just like when you've got this many picks in a draft where the talent seems like it's not quite as good as some others, why not just take some more chances? There are good players out there. Why not just take the risk and either keep your picks or trade down for once?
Right. I think that's the right headspace to be in. And again, there's a little bit of wiggle room where I'm not going to draw the hardest line, partially because I've certainly been wrong about this with each before. I'm not going to draw the hardest line. I'm like, no, you just pick at 9, 29, 40 and make it work. But I really do think the Chiefs need to take 3 picks in that top 50 if you want, kind of wherever he thinks that next teardrop is. And he mentioned it during his presser, where the different drop-offs are and how far you think you could go before you address defensive end and stuff like that. I just do think they need to take advantage of the places they have these picks by making the picks. And you could probably play either side of the coin of trade-ups that have worked or trade-ups that you would second-guess. And some of them, like Kingsley and Xavier Worthy, are still very much TBD in terms of where their careers arc out from here. But the reason that the Chiefs have these picks that they have, 29 is not their pick. That's the Rams pick. They earned the 9th pick. They earned the 40th pick because this roster just had too many holes last year. You cannot guarantee that the guy at any of those spots is going to be a superstar for you, but you can guarantee that you have the ability to keep them in your organization on your roster for the next 4 or 5 years at a rookie cost-controlled value. If you think that the player you get at 40 is probably a little less likely to be a star than the guy you took at 40 in years prior, or, in the Chiefs' case, usually the late 30s or down to the 60s, if you think that his ceiling's a little lower, that's okay. You need to have a player who's giving you value by simply being on the roster. Like Noel Williams could be the biggest success story of the second or third day of last year's draft if he's just a starting caliber corner. He doesn't need to be a superstar. You just got to get the position and the value right there. This is a class for me where, again, I'd much rather have more bites at the apple, more dart throws for Veach, rather than one more premium one, certainly if they're really serious about the offensive line stuff.
We're talking to Josh Brisco here on 96.5 The Fan. When it comes to the risk, reward, and the safest pick, how do you where do you slot some of these names? We were doing this a little bit earlier. I think clearly Tyson and Bain, I think, are the highest risk type picks, but also bring the highest reward. Where do you kind of slot everybody in on the safe to risk scale, I should say?
Yeah, that's this is sort of a cop-out, I guess, but, there is risk starting at 2, and the only reason that risk doesn't start at 1 is because the Raiders have to have a quarterback, and so you take the risk that maybe he's not a franchise saver. But Arvell Reese has some risk in terms of what his NFL future looks like exactly. A little bit of a tweener. Maybe that's one of the reasons the Cardinals wouldn't be rushing to select him at number 3 overall. David Bailey is a very good football player, but that's not the kind of defensive end that the Chiefs have really targeted. Ruben Bain is a historical outlier, but he plays like a safe player. Not that he plays in any way timid or anything. Watch the tape. That is not what I am saying. But you would say, the way he plays, I could see him having an NFL career somewhere in the middle of the road in terms of just a good starter, which again, that's really valuable, especially at a premium position like that. The highest ceiling guy probably is Tyson, because outside of his injury concerns, you also did it for Jermod McCoy, I guess, the corner. If they're healthy, they're the number 1 wide receiver and cornerback in this draft. I also think Carnell Tate's ceiling is pretty high, but also think that he, again, maybe in that Bain category. I have a hard time seeing Bain or Tate just not have a really good, solid NFL career. And again, I don't want to just lower expectations, because I also think that all those guys have a pretty similarly high ceiling, where maybe they're not all as traitsy, but you can see what their best case scenario looks like. I think once you get outside of the top, maybe 12, I'm really, again, I'm conflicted about a lot of the linemen here, but outside of the top 12, you start getting more into that headspace of this could really go either way. But that's even true in the top 5. We get really comfortable saying that there's a super safe, can't miss prospect, and a lot of times those guys still miss, at least considering where they're drafted on a pretty regular basis.
I'm not saying it has to be a 9. I don't want it at 9. I actively hate it at 9. But the fact that they have 4 starting offensive linemen under control for at least multiple years, some for even longer than that, is the only way I'm supposed to believe that all this offensive tackle talk is real, is that they hate Jalen Moore. They really don't think he's a starter, because otherwise, what sense would it make to use a first-round pick on a tackle?
Well, I'll say the other thing is, if they really hate Jalen Moore, they did a bad job of solving that problem during free agency. Jawan Taylor's in Atlanta now playing for pennies on the dollar. I don't know if he just wasn't interested in coming back, or you just didn't want him back because of penalties or whatever. But there were other guys in the mid-level tackle market that you could have spent a few $1 million on to at least give you another option. Or if you just really think that Esapole is just not an NFL player, despite what we saw last year, there were ways you could patch that up. And you want to replace Wanye Morris, and you want to get an offensive tackle, obviously coming off an injury for him. You want to get an offensive tackle in the 3rd round, take a swing there somewhere because you think you might be able to find some value for the guy who could be your starter in 2027. That's totally fine. But the Chiefs have invested so much in that offensive line, and they've gotten it right in at least 4 places. I can't tell you that any of these tackles in 2026 are definitively going to be better right NFL starting tackles than Jalen Moore. I don't know that. You can guess that. But if there was a prospect in this class that was just Penei Sewell with 4 arms, then yeah, trade up to 2 and get him and figure it out later. But there's not really blue chip consensus on any of these players. Almost all of them get talked about having guard potential, the Chiefs obviously don't need. They just did that with Kingsley, and it's worked out fine. That worked out fine at 63, not at 9 or 29 or trading up for 21 or 22. I just think that it's such a high cost to get any of those top several tackles because the NFL needs more of them. It's why a ton are going to get selected in the first round, but I don't think there's any in this draft that I'm excited about being worth a top 10 pick. And that's, again, I think the Cardinals agree with me, which is why they are so desperate to say that we're ready to move back, because we'll just take one of the tackles at 12 or 15 or 25. And that's where Veach thought there'd be a run somewhere in there. Again, I get it. Like, I understand valuing tackle, but it's different if Josh Simmons would have had the rookie season that Kingsley had. It's different if your guards are unknown, if you let Trey Smith walk and you weren't sure about Kingsley. Like, if you had some vacancies, I get it. But to use the only top 10 pick hopefully you ever have in the Patrick Mahomes era, to use that on a guy that starts as your sixth lineman and then probably becomes your fifth lineman at some point in terms of skill and value, is just really confusing to me. They might disagree. I'm not putting a nickel down to say that they're not taking a tackle in the first round. You just will not find me making that argument in the meantime. I just don't think it makes sense when you could draft defensive line and corner at 29. I think defensive line and wide receiver is the most logical thing, as I said at the beginning. You could double dip on the defensive line if you want. If you love Caleb Downs at 9 and Ruben Bain is gone, take Downs at 9 and a defensive end at 29. Of all of the different ways it could play out, I'd be pretty surprised, or at least I don't know. I have a lot of questions to ask about a top 10 tackle and even moving up for one. If the two best players on the board at 29 are both offensive tackles and you think it's legitimate by a pretty good margin, okay, all right, so be it. But if you're moving up for one or you're taking one at 9, I'm not sure I understand the logic behind that.
Which of the two fake trade players that are being tossed around in lieu of the draft right now do you enjoy the most? The Brian Thomas Jr. Jags are trying to get to the bottom of the first round, or that the Falcons might actually trade Kyle Pitts? Let's say for the Chiefs.
Yeah, isn't it funny? Isn't it funny that we've been talking about both of those guys getting traded for what now? 2 full years, I think?
Yep.
Maybe this is the time. I'd be interested in both, honestly. I think Brian Thomas for 29 and the kind of corresponding picks to make it work, he's the best receiver you're going to get outside of the top 20. I've kind of bought into the Casey Concepcion hype, so he's the top guy of the next tier for me. But if you're not in on one of those top 4 receivers, with Concepcion being the line for me, I would be very interested in saying, okay, well, we're going to have to obviously pay money here and pay twice for Brian Thomas Jr. You're basically trading Trent McDuffie for Brian Thomas Jr. with some change. That's not as exciting as it would be to have the rookie contract superstar, but that's very hard to actually make happen. I think he makes a lot of sense. I think the Chiefs probably have talked to the Jags at some point in the last several months to figure out what the price point would be, and if they have a real interest in actually making that move on draft night tonight, I'd be willing to have that phone call. I think the price point has to get lower for Pitts. He's a player that I have liked the idea of him in a Chiefs uniform since he was in the original draft class that he came in with. I think that's relatively unlikely. I think Brian Thomas Jr. would be more likely a slightly better fit. But if the price was right, I'd probably take him up on an offer for either of those players, as long as you're not paying a draft night premium that oftentimes happens.
Cody asked you about a couple trade candidates that would link to Kansas City. I'm going to go away from the Chiefs for a second, Brisco. How about George Pickens and not getting a long-term deal done? Do you believe the Cowboys will push themselves to drafting a wide receiver now so they can use that as leverage to get Pickens to sign the franchise tag based off of the scenario that we already know, which is it's very unlikely Pickens can sit out anyway?
I believe that the Cowboys will do whatever leads to them having the most painful negotiation possible. Like, that just seems like the thing that you could actually bet on and win every time. Like, getting the Brandon Aubrey deal done, you guys might have talked about it when I had, like, the Rappaport tweet of, like, the Cowboys have a history of working ahead on their big contracts. And, like, 48 hours later, like, you know what, George Pickens, you can play or you can sit out. I don't give a hoot. Like, okay, well, this is him again. I don't understand it. I think you probably just decided this offseason, is this a guy that you're going to hitch your wagon to? And And maybe he could sit out those first 10 or 11 games or whatever it would be and let him still accrue this season and then hit free agency next year. I don't think that's likely. That very rarely happens. But if I was in the middle, the Dallas Cowboys and George Pickens would not be a standoff I'd want to be in the middle of. That feels like that could get kind of nasty.
Josh Brisco, our Chiefs contributor, Chiefs pre- and post-game host for the Chiefs Radio Network. Appreciate it, man. Have a good night tonight.
I'm going to try. You guys do the same. Have fun out there and make sure Cody doesn't get into any high places.
That's right. That's right. Yeah, I think when they're referencing the tweet I sent, which is that you said if they take an offensive tackle that you jump in the river. Now, the photo had the bridge. They took that as you jumping off the bridge. I think it was more. I think it was more just jumping
maybe off the concrete part.
Yeah,
a little.
Now look, I don't want them taking an offensive tackle either. I've told you it makes no sense. So you have that bet. Cody will jump in the Allegheny River if they take a tackle at 9 or trade up for one. I have no worry at all about my bet I made a week or so ago.
You're safe.
I think I'm totally good. If Jeremiah Love goes to the Chiefs at 9, I have to shave my head on the air. I feel so confident.
He's going to go like 3 or 4.
I'm not worried at all. I have nothing to worry about.
I will say, Drew, there is in what my opinion is a shocking lack of signage about not jumping into the Allegheny. As in, I'm not even sure it's against the rules.
You don't think you're breaking a law by
I don't
doing
think
it?
so. There's not a single sign down there that says you will be fined if you have to be arrested.
It doesn't.
This is
It
what
doesn't
happens.
say that.
There's
That's
one
true.
area that looks like a ramp. I could just walk into the Allegheny.
I don't
It doesn't
think,
even look like they're stopping me from getting in the water.
I don't think you're going to want to do that, though.
I will say, I do think the headline on whatever paper is in Pittsburgh of
the Post-Gazette.
The Pittsburgh Post-Gazette of radio host jumps into the Allegheny River after Kansas City takes an offensive lineman as if it's
Takes
the worst
Spencer
possible
Fano.
thing, as if it's the worst thing possible.
I'd be so mad,
interesting.
dude.
That is true.
I'd be so mad. They get up to number 3. They give up pick 29 just to take Fano. Like, oh, brutal.
So last night here in Pittsburgh, first night here.
Are we making this trash of the day?
We can. We might as well. We can cue the trash of the day if you want.
Trash of the day.
There we go. So we decided to go to a cocktail bar last night.
As recommended by a friend.
Frank, it's the we're gonna be very busy today and tomorrow. So last night was the one night where we could kind of do that. So we did. And it's a nice place and cocktail menu. Cody, you're looking at the menu. You already figured out what you were going to drink. I'm looking and I'm like, all right, this kind of is interesting. It was like some Mexican rum with some what was it? Green chartreuse. And I'm like chartreuse. What's the flavor, Cody?
And I started to say, well, it's like a liqueur that has a number of spices, and then before I could even get through that part,
the bartender named Ben basically is like, well, actually, and
wow.
and it was.
I wasn't even. I was like just talking to him slow.
It was great though because
Except 1,000 herbs and spices, and nobody has the recipe.
This prompted him to educate Cody like no other. The rest of the evening,
it was invented in the 14th century in France. Actually, the color green was invented after the name chartreuse for the liquor. He went on a diatribe, dude.
It became
the
next hour and a half. And he started bringing us samples of these other botanical type
giving you the background of how each drink was made. That's great.
All kinds of history. But what I loved about it is Cody would try to chime in, and Cody would try to be like, yeah, no, I kind of used to mix this drink before, and it has this profile.
I asked him, what do you use it in?
And then
like, anything.
But you would make a comment like if you made it on the show, we'd be like, "Wow, Cody, obviously you've got some knowledge. You bartended."
And it was the opposite.
Cody would make a comment and he would be like, "Well, actually, it's this," and then go on a 10-minute rant every time. And I loved it. He shut your ass down the whole night.
After I had accepted that this guy's going to know way more than I would ever possibly know, Drew, and I wasn't going to try to fight him.
Oh, it was awesome.
He had a drink on there. I really liked a drink called a Negroni. And so, I was asking, they have a Negroni on the menu, but it's made with Kingston rum. I've never had a rum Negroni, so I said, hey, how is this rum Negroni? I like Negronis a lot. I'm worried it would be too sweet because rum tends to be a little bit sweeter when you drink it than gin, the liquor it's traditionally made.
No, you're wrong.
And he said, no, it's not sweet. And then went on a diatribe about how liquor is distilled.
It sounded like you trying to explain the drinks genuinely offended this
I wasn't
bartender.
even trying to explain it. I asked
offensive.
Ben. His name was Ben. I asked Ben, I didn't know. I thought maybe it would be too sweet. because I was considering ordering it, Drew, and I actually wanted his advice. And then he was talking about liquor distillation and like boiling points and stuff. I mean, it went like way down the list. This man was this man was in deep. And then he was talking about like Pittsburgh history and like what was it, like not a Vietnamese restaurant. He was suggesting a Trinidadian restaurant to us, and he was talking about like a particle collider that exists in some park down here. He was just
normally I would
no shortage of a wealth of knowledge on a variety of topics.
Normally I would have been annoyed by the constant conversation. But I loved it because he shut you down every time you tried to say something you thought that was very knowledgeable. He immediately one-upped you every time. It was great. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I wish I had it on video. It was great.
I was trying to participate. It was crazy.
Oh, man. Anyway, shout out to Bartender Ben here in Pittsburgh. He used to be in radio as well. We learned a lot.
If you're in Pittsburgh or going to be in the Pittsburgh area this summer, check out Tina's,
There you go.
Little free advertisement for Tina's Cocktail Bar and Lounge. They had some food on the menu, too. Nice spot.
They did. They absolutely did. That's the trash of the day. It made my night. It really did.
Man, he was chatty. He was pouring us free drinks and or like at least samples of stuff,
Yeah. All right. Up next, we'll continue broadcasting live here from PNC Park in Pittsburgh. We'll get right back into the draft, including what Mitch Holthus had to say this morning with the guys about a certain player that maybe we should be thinking a bit more about. And are fans really making a big deal of some of the photos that were leaking out? We'll explain about that next here on the Cody and Gold.
Cody and Gold, brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Follow the station on Instagram for ticket giveaways and behind-the-scenes content from the show at The Fan 965.
Well, I want to tell you about my friends over at Shawnee Mission Ford. You guys know I'm driving the Ford Mustang Mach-E right now. It is awesome. I drive sitting at the airport actually right now, as a matter of fact. And what is so nice about it is not only did it have plenty of room to fit our equipment and luggage and everything in, but it is saving me some money on fuel right now. Gas prices are a little high, and so having the electric vehicle is a perfect time to drive one. If you've never driven one as well, it might be the most fun vehicle you have driven in your life. There's a real chance that that's the case based off of how quick it is off the line when you're on a stoplight. It's got great acceleration. It is one of my favorite vehicles I've been driving over the last couple of months. And right now, over at Shawnee Mission Ford, they've announced $399 lease payments on Mustang EcoBoost, Bronco Sport Big Bin, and the Maverick XLT, or $499 lease payments on a Mustang GT, Bronco Big Bin, Explorer Active. You can get the vehicle of your dreams for only $399 or $499 a month, and only at Shawnee Mission Ford do they offer a $500 gas card on top of those low payments. It is a great time to go in and test drive a vehicle. Talk to Blake and everybody over at Shawnee Mission Ford, where they are on a mission to do more in 26.
Getting a little older doesn't have to mean, well, getting older. This is Jeff for Heartland Men's Health, and if you're feeling low energy, can't sleep, can't lose weight, are struggling with brain fog, or your sex drive is off, it's time to change it up. At Heartland Men's Health, our advanced medical strategies featuring TRT, GH peptides, NAD+, GLP-1s, PDA, and more treat low T and other hormonal issues to help you shed pounds, have more energy, enhance your body composition, improve sleep, increase your sex drive, and so much more, getting you back in the game again. So don't be older. Be stronger in the gym. Be sharper at work. Be better in the bedroom, and be more confident in every part of your life. So call us today and find out how our advanced treatment strategies could change the game for you. Your first visit is just $99 and includes blood work and a medical consult. And if you start on one of our advanced treatment plans on the day of your appointment, your visit is free. Call 844-447-6600 or go to heartlandmenshealth.com.
Feature therapies are compounded and have not been evaluated nor approved by the FDA. Provider prescription required. See website for details.
Right now, new FanDuel customers can bet $5 and get $400 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $400 in bonus bets. That's just for getting started. When every possession matters in the playoffs, FanDuel makes it easy to get closer to the action. From player props on your favorite stars to all the tools you need to back those stats up, you can head over to FanDuel.com/local to get started. FanDuel puts player research right at your fingertips. You can check stats, trends, matchups, all in one location, all on the same app so you can make your picks with confidence. Everything you need on America's #1 sportsbook app. Don't miss your shot. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. One more time, that's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel is the official partner of the NBA and also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 and present in Missouri. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued to non-withdrawable bonus back to expire 7 days on the street, which apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and it's time to make a big deal out of nothing. Announcing Lee Summit Subaru's 0% event. Up to 0% financing on select 2025 Subaru models for 72 months. And we have the largest selection of Subaru certified vehicles in Kansas City, starting as low as 1.9% for 72 months.
0% event and a lifetime warranty. Fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
Based on January 2025 through June 2025 Kansas City inventory listings.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits. Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
You're always better with a roof from JR.
It happens every day. An unsuspecting homeowner looks up and sees spots on the ceiling after it rains. They didn't know their roof had hail and wind damage from a storm maybe a year or two ago when they weren't home. Now they've got roof damage and a whole lot more. Don't let that happen to you, especially since JR and Company has a free and hassle-free way to find out what's up there. Just visit jrstormcheck.com, plug in your address, and we'll pull a multi-year storm report. If there's nothing there, you have free peace of mind. And if there is, we'll work with your insurance company to get it taken care of before your claim window closes and before you see spots. Your free online storm check from JR and Company only takes a minute at jrstormcheck.com.
Always better with a roof from JR.
Visit jrstormcheck.com.
Get 5 quarts of Syntec Full Synthetic and a MicroGuard Select Oil Filter for just $32.99 now at O'Reilly Auto Parts. Limit supply.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
I'm Piera Palazzolo, VP of Digital Marketing for the American Management Association, a company focused on the management training skills needed to enhance the careers of business professionals. We did our research when it came to the best companies for website development and chose AmericanEagle.com. And we couldn't be happier. AmericanEagle.com worked closely with us to understand the front and back end requirements needed to launch an e-commerce website that could handle the complexities of running thousands of seminars nationwide. Our robust new website and improved SEO saw immediate increases in site traffic and web revenue. If you're in need of managerial effectiveness and success, visit our website at amanet.org. If you're in need of a website that provides an unparalleled consumer experience, I highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Transform your business today. Dial 877-WEB-NOW1 for a free digital consultation with AmericanEagle.com.
This report is brought to you by Bet365. Winning is everything.
With Bet365 early payout, you win even if they lose. Get paid out instantly when your team goes up big, even if they blow the lead later. Bet365. Winning is everything. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in Missouri.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Welcome in to the Chiefs Red Half Hour. Every day at 11:30 with Cody and Gold on your new home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan.
Chiefs Red Half Hour brought to you by Leavenworth PD. Be a cop, be yourself, build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply today at leavenworthks.gov/police as we continue broadcasting live in Pittsburgh at PNC Park, getting set for tonight's NFL draft. Of course, the Chiefs pick 9 in 29. We'll take a look at a couple mock drafts here in just a bit. Also, what Mitch Holthus had to say to the guys this morning about a certain player that maybe we need to be giving even more consideration to that could be picked at number 9. Hope you guys are having a great day back in KC. Don't forget tonight, if you're in KC still, check out Brooksider. That's where our station draft party is. Someone on the text line did text in and said, hey, I'm a Chiefs fan who lives in Cleveland. Do you think it's worth making the 2-hour drive to Pittsburgh tonight when I still have work tomorrow morning? Yes. 2 hours?
Why not? 2 hours?
Guys, we are in the Riverwalk area at PNC Park in the outfield, and it's right by the river, and there are, of course, 99% Steelers fans, but still, we are waiting for the first Chiefs fan to walk by. This is kind of crazy.
I know. I've seen almost every other. I've seen Cardinals. I've seen Giants.
Of course, plenty of Ravens. Here's an Arizona fan right here as well. So it's been all over the place.
Marvin Harrison Jr. You think you regressed buying that one yet?
And after this year, he might. After this year, he might. Before we get to Mitch Holthus, you showed me something during the break. Mike Vrabel, Diana Rossini's story just gets crazier each and every day. The update earlier today was that Mike Vrabel is going to miss Saturday of the draft to go to, quote, counseling.
Didn't specify counseling for what?
No, and we can get into that. That sure seems like they want to make it seem like it's just he's taking it serious enough that he's missing work, but it's not serious enough to miss tonight.
To miss important.
Or
to just wait till Monday or go now. I'll tell you right now, there's counseling that starts at any of those times. That's fine. But the New York Post just published photos from 6 years ago in 2020 with Vrabel and Rossini clearly kissing at the bar together.
He's got the ring
in a
on
public
still.
bar. He's got the ring on his finger. I mean, how long have they been?
Unbelievably disrespectful.
By the way, now this goes back to the initial point of you guys denying this right away, like coming out in the athletic meeting, unequivocally false. Like, you knew what you did. You didn't think there was a single other photo of you? Didn't you rack your brain for every single time you might have been out in public because all that stuff was going to come out? I think the only reason he said he was going to counseling is because he realized there's worse stuff out there or equally as bad stuff out there, so he's got to say something now. And so he's like, he realized that I had to have some tough conversations wasn't enough, and they weren't getting outside of that, and so what they did instead, Gold, was he said the generic, I'm doing counseling. He has a terrible PR agent, I'll say. In retrospect now, he stayed quiet for a long time, came out and was like, I'm not going to discuss any of it, and then vaguely sent out a statement that said, I'm doing counseling. It's like Darren Peterson's guy.
At least he didn't deny it,
Who's handling his PR?
At least he didn't deny it, though.
He is denying it. He hasn't once said he did any of it. He said he's seeking counseling, not for what?
He never said
and he said that he's, and then he said he had to have some tough conversations.
I think we can all. I think with
you're right. He didn't release the
because
statement.
Diana Rossini said that she didn't do it. Yeah,
that's true.
It looks
that's
worse
true.
for
I'll
her.
give you that.
He has never flat out said it never happened.
Correct.
She did initially, and
Yes.
she still, even in her statement when she resigned, she still was adamant that it was this media driven thing. Look, I just can't get. I thought we were going to be done with this, but we're not because one, he did speak this week, and then now he's going to some form of counseling. Fine, and then now there's photos from 6 years ago. Look, that part of it's more of a personal matter. Truly, him between both their spouses.
She wasn't married yet, but I think 6 months after that she was.
But
she was definitely with the guy.
This is, again. If it wasn't true, both of them very easily could have proven it wasn't true, and they didn't. So we all are grown adults. We all know it's pretty obvious what was transpiring. Now we see more photos coming out. I mean, this thing's been going on for a very long time. People are pulling up tweets now from 6 years ago when he was with the Titans.
Crazy.
She was breaking Titans news then a lot. So it's a mess, man. It's a mess. This is why the NFL didn't investigate. They're afraid to find what they find out what they would find, right? I think this would be a much bigger deal from the part where you guys last week were saying how come Vrabel job-wise is not impacted as much. The only part that would impact it is if there was proof through text that the NFL investigated that there was tampering going on, that he was intentionally feeding information to hurt other franchises.
Or she was giving him
That's when it would become more of he's got to get fired.
But how do you not look at that? 6 years, this relationship.
Because the NFL's I think the NFL doesn't want to look at it because they're terrified of what might actually happen.
Isn't it their job, though, to do that? Isn't it, I understand that it'd be a bad look for the league, but isn't it their job to try to funnel all of that out as ugly as it may be?
Yes and no. Do other owners care? Right? If there was pressure from other owners, then yes. But if other owners are like, we just need this to move on. Then...
Here's the other part. I wouldn't believe anything they said now. They could come out with a statement and said, yes, that happened, but nothing was happening nefarious as it relates to news and the way we deliver news in the league. Oh, I'm going to believe you now. You already lied about the other thing.
Yeah.
You've been unfaithful to your significant other this entire time. Yeah. Now I think you're a baron of truth.
Right.
There's nothing they could say at this point, I believe. They could say that it was a one-time incident in 2020 and then a one-time incident 6 years later. The hell I'm going to believe that? I'd be more likely to believe that it's been going on for 6 straight years than these are 2 isolated incidents in which something sparked back up after something took place 6 years ago. It's nuts.
The photos from the resort were clearly from a professional photographer.
The other one reported was just like people in the bar.
This one,
public bar.
Yeah, this one just looked like, they were just chilling at the bar.
Dude, if you were in a bar and you saw Mike Vrabel kissing an NFL reporter, you'd take a photo. I'm sorry, you would. Most people would. You're taking that risk.
Yeah, probably.
Gold, if you had a girlfriend and you were dating for 6 months and you were at a bar making out with someone else, somebody take a photo of you. Like, there's not, that's just public place cheating. You were just, what are you doing?
I don't disagree.
I
don't disagree.
You're inviting the trouble yourself. Let's talk about photos that were taken of things. People took screenshots of Mitch Holthus's draft guide.
Yeah.
Page 1, defensive ends, ranked number 1. Arvell Reese, ranked number 2. Ruben Bain. Do you think that Mitch Holthus gets a draft guide or the order of which the draft guide means anything to the Chiefs' actual draft strategy?
Not a damn thing.
I don't either.
I don't
think he'd flip through it if it did.
I love how people think that the Chiefs' social media team would have put out a video of a draft guide that was actually strictly from what the GM and the front office was saying.
Versus here are players, and I had to start with one.
No, I think Mitch Holthus was doing the same stuff that anybody else with a draft guide or wants to put together a draft guide or a binder full of prospects and would do. I understand he works for the team, but with all due respect to Mitch Holthus, Brett Veach is not telling Mitch Holthus the 3 guys they want to draft tonight. That's just not how that works. This doesn't happen.
Yeah.
So I do not think the fact that his draft guide, by the way, the 3 linemen they listed 1, 2, 3 is like the same order that everybody's been ranking them.
Pretty much.
Basically, Reese, Bailey, Bain.
Yep.
That's not like groundbreaking anyway. So I don't think Mitch Holthus's binder spilled the beans on anything. But I was interested in what he had to say this morning. He was on with the morning show discussing Caleb Downs. Listen to this.
Don't be tricked by the S by his name. I think he's the best slot corner in this draft. I think he's Trent McDuffie potentially recreated. He is so good in the slot. He tackles. He's wicked smart. He'll run your defense.
I thought we had more of a cut. Sorry, I thought that was a little
that was
okay.
it. That was it.
Okay, I thought it was a little bit long.
I was like, we were both like, wait, do we drop or was he still talking?
Sorry.
Yeah, you're good.
I thought that was interesting, though. Caleb Downs, when you just say safety, to Mitch's point, that's way less intriguing, right? If I tell you they draft a safety at 9, I don't think many fans necessarily would be on board with that. But if he truly is as versatile as Mitch is describing, others have described, how maybe Spags wants to use him not just as a safety strictly, but as a cornerback, as a slot corner, then that's how you talk yourself into that particular pick. I think there's no doubt that he's going to go on and be a really nice NFL player. It's just, are you adamantly against drafting a safety at 9? But if you think he's more than that, then I can be talked into it because I told you I think there's a chance Mansour Delane at 9, who's only a corner, could be picked. If you tell me Downs can do both, or they can line him up in 2 or 3 spots, well, then he's actually even more valuable to you as an organization at 9.
So I like safety better than I like tackle.
Same. If it's an offensive tackle or Caleb Downs, absolutely.
So I like that better than a few other positions, but there is still, I guess, the pressing question, which is, do they see him the way Mitch Holthus is describing as this like super versatile player? And look, here's the other thing. I probably liked Down less when they still had 2 other safeties under contract. When Jalen Watson and Trent McDuffie were still members of the organization, or at least could be members of the organization. They lost both, obviously, to free agency and to trade pretty quick. So I know they lost Brian Cook. They need secondary help. They take a safety at 9 and it's Caleb Downs. I'm not going to lose my mind. I'm not. But I also think you could just trade down and get Thieneman, or there's other guys that people like.
The name that's been, sorry, maybe Drew was about to say it. I would say that the name that's been coming up all of a sudden is the Trey Stukes kid out of Arizona. as his corner/safety, but that's more of a late first round, second round pick than going up as high as that.
Yeah, I'd be stunned if he was taken before Thieneman or Downs. I think the appeal to Downs, though, is Thieneman is a great safety, very good at what he does at that spot. Caleb Downs, I think the appeal for him for everybody, that's why people think he's the best player in the draft pound for pound, is he can play slot corner, he can play regular safety, he can even line up at linebacker, and he might be a little bit smaller than a tight end, but he's got the tackling ability and the ball skills and the speed to keep up with a wide receiver in the slot, a tight end in coverage. Like, he can play at multiple positions, which is why I think he's even being considered to go as high as number 3 or number 4 at this point. I mean, he could slide to the Chiefs at 9, which is where if he's available and Bain's not, I would absolutely take Caleb Downs in that spot.
He's one of the guys on the list at 9 that if they drafted, I'm not going to be on the show tomorrow upset about it. I'm trying to think who would I preference, Bain, certainly, I would prefer more so than sitting there at Caleb Downs. I think, the Jordan Tyson one's interesting. I think fans clearly would prefer Jordan Tyson, but that's the risk.
It's more fun.
It's the fun one. Yeah, Caleb Downs at safety is not going to be as fun, but I also think you're getting an immediate day one just stud, right away. And how are you going to hate on that? Because I do think whoever drafts Caleb Downs is getting an immediate day one starter that could end up being an all-pro within a year or two. I'm serious. That's who he could be. And you're like, well, then what's the problem with the pick? I don't have a problem with it. It's just more the positional value aspect of it, which, as Drew was saying as well, it's not just the safety element. As long as you trust the Chiefs, and I do with Spags, to utilize him in multiple ways, then I can be talked in there. The only pick, truly, that I would come on the show tomorrow and really be, upset about would be an offensive tackle or running back.
Other than quarterback or running back. Are the ones
even if they drafted Sadiq, and I don't think they're going to, but even if they drafted Sadiq, I would understand the pick because to me he could become a playmaker this year and then he's your long-term replacement at tight end. So I can be talked into a couple of different spots.
I guess the thing about safety is that Andy Reid and Brett Veach together have never really valued safety. The safeties for their Super Bowl winning campaigns are
free agents.
Free agent, second rounder in one, Thornhill, third rounder. They're all I'm not saying they're not nothing, but they're also not number 9 overall pick, first round pick, that version of it. Downs has got to be. I mean, that's always the thing, right? He's got to be as good as Kyle Hamilton or any of the other guys you think are one of the 5 best safeties in the league, and immediately. That's the difference with those positions that we keep talking about. If you take Love, he has to be one of the 5 best running backs immediately. If you take Downs, he has to be one of the 5 best safeties immediately. It doesn't have to be that way with wide receiver right away. It doesn't have to be that way with defensive end right away. It doesn't require that day one on the job. It does require that at safety. You got if you're taking them at 9, they got to be your 3rd best defensive player tomorrow. Only worse than Chris Jones and maybe one other guy.
But also positionally, who could help you right away, though, just based on the Chiefs roster. I mean, Caleb Downs right away makes you a hell of a lot better. Ruben Bain at defensive makes you a hell of a lot better. I'm not saying that Jordan Tyson doesn't make them better, but the chance of him having the impact in 2026 in changing the long-term outlook of the season is not nearly as great as what Caleb Downs might be able to do because Rashee Rice, Xavier Worthy, are your 1-2. I understand if they draft Tyson, people want to say,
he'd have a chance to be the 2.
He's the 2. I don't think on week 1 he is. I think agree. Xavier Worthy's getting more snaps than Tyson in week 1.
I agree. I think by week 7 he could be 2. But again, not day 1.
At 9, if he's picked at 9, he better be getting more reps at.
But not 7. On week 1. Yeah, week 7. Yeah. I think there's a chance. Okay, let's get to a couple more of our mock drafts. Yes, even though we're on remote, I can still hear it.
What's the weather like there, Drew? Are we playing this at a bad time in Kansas City?
Cloudy and rainy, but it's not it's not like storms. We don't get storms until later tonight. I don't think.
It's gorgeous here.
Drew, it literally is 75 and sunny here.
Yeah, it's
literally 75 and sunny.
It's gorgeous.
Okay, so where are we going? This is the last day that anybody's putting out mock drafts. It's draft day.
We'll do one tomorrow maybe for round 2 through 7. We'll see.
100%. I think we should. So we're going 2 different places. Matt Miller released his final first-round mock today, and also our guy Nick Jacobs did come out with a mock draft
today. Shocker!
To try and defend his title as the best mocker, if you will.
Not afraid of the smoke. I thought he might be one and done.
So Matt Miller in his mock, no trades in this one. It's just Chiefs at 9, Chiefs at 29. Ruben Bain he has at number 9. Chris Johnson, corner out of San Diego State, at 29. And then for Nick, real quick, Nick has Jordan Tyson going at 9, and then Jermon McCoy, who's been sliding a lot here recently, going at 29.
Wow. Okay, so let's start with Matt Miller for a second.
That's like the stock.
Ruben Bain, we all kind of addressed that
Yep.
throughout the.
Yes.
I have no issue. Would love the pick. Number one need for me, and I think a lot of us are edge. So all good. Corner. I mean, that's another. It's Chris Johnson. Maybe it's not the same type of name that's been brought up as much, but corner is obviously a need for this team. It's not using it at 9, so that might appease people a bit more. So I have no. If you told me that was the first round for the Chiefs, I would lock that in right now. Bain and Chris Johnson, I would have no issue, mainly because Bain, but I would have no issue with that pick.
And in fairness, he points it out, and he's right. Chris Johnson is a Spags type corner. He's like Jalen Watson. He's long and fast.
Okay.
And he's obviously more talented than that. That's why he's going to go in the first or second round, not round 6 or whatever, or 7, Jalen Watson went in. But Chris Johnson is a prototypical Chiefs corner. He is tall, he has long arms, and he can fly. So, Spags would, I'm assuming, like to work with that. The other one, Nick Jacobs.
This is fun.
I'll tell you right now, it would be thrilling. And I would be in a panic.
It might be the riskiest first round, yeah.
I mean, if I were the Chiefs' head athletic trainer, Rick Burkholder, I'd be like, oh God, I am in for one this year. My job just got hard because those are arguably, if they were 100% healthy, no questions asked, they would both be
top 10,
top 5, top 10 to top 5 picks. Genuinely, they would be right at the top of the NFL draft. As high as anybody who could be drafted, right there near the top of the board. And so, but why are they available at 9 and 29, you might ask? Well, because both guys are major injury concerns. I will say, Nick Jacobs would be fun. It would make for a fun show tomorrow if those are the two guys they took in the first round, wouldn't it?
Oh, no question. Yeah, no question about it. I think Tyson, we've talked a lot about, in particular, more than even McCoy. It is all just about the injury history. That is the hold-up. That's the whole hang-up with him. The ceiling is unbelievably high. Everything for the next 3 months would be about Jordan Tyson and what he could be, but also the worry. I would be terrified tomorrow if we are talking about Tyson being the pick, but I also would be thrilled and excited. Does that make sense? Both things can be things can be true. And then McCoy, if it's a need, I don't know if I want them drafting 2 guys though that could both not be available midway through the season. It's okay to take the risk on one. I don't know. I mean, this is the most important offseason we've all acknowledged for Brett Veach. This to me is not the draft where you just go risk, first 2 picks. I just disagree with that. One of them, fine. If this was a team that to me was better positioned roster-wise, or 2 years ago in the middle of the true dynasty back-to-back campaign, I think I would have liked the back-to-back picks like this more. I think these are 2 picks that have to hit for you, and you're really rolling the dice. So on one of them, whether it's Tyson or McCoy, draft one of them. I don't think you should draft both, though. I think that's too much of a concern, even though I told you I have faith in Burkholder, the training staff, based on their track record. But, man.
That is getting some talent.
The whole Jamon McCoy thing is really interesting because at first, obviously, he didn't play all year because of the ACL. Then he tested great, and he moved back up in mocks. But now I think people think he could need a second surgery. Not that the ACL is messed up because the ACL is fully repaired, but there's a bone in his knee that is potentially going to cause problems where he might need surgery again. Not that he'd miss any time, but that obviously is a concern, having 2 knee surgeries in a relatively close time period for different things. But I think that not that the ACL surgery went bad, but I think that was the rumor that popped up again, is it's not even that the ACL is an issue. There's another problem in the same knee that they might need to fix as well, which is why he slid now to the late first round.
Might have to do it twice, yeah. And look, I get it. I get how he ended up there. But, I get, what Nick Jacobs is doing here in the sense that if you're the Chiefs, I think the Chiefs roster has problems. But I do not think it is beyond repair. And if you're the kind of franchise who gets those things right, if you get the health of those guys right, and they're healthy for you, oh, man, all of a sudden, talk about a revamp. You get a number 1 corner at 29 who can do stuff that you just lost in your all-pro corner, and you'd still have a 3rd-round pick this year, multiple picks next year to go with it, and you would end up getting, potentially your number 1 wide receiver for the rest of Patrick Mahomes' career.
Take the edge rusher at 40? Yeah.
Hell, it'd be well, I'd probably take pass rushers to be the rest of the picks, Drew. 40, 74, probably my first pick in the 5th.
The reward is unbelievable potentially for both Tyson and McCoy. I just don't know if I would want. And again, we're just talking about one person's mock draft.
Yeah.
Drafting
big
drafting both of them is.
But the number one mocker last year, we can't be just
I
missing
understand.
each other.
That's
Drafting two of the biggest injury question guys, arguably in the draft,
to be scary.
But Tyson would be fun. It'd be fun.
Are both Jordan Tyson and Jamal McCoy there in Pittsburgh? Do you guys know?
Let's double check. Let me get to the list. Yeah, Pittsburgh. Give me a second. I'll pull that up. Yeah.
While you do that, I'm going to go through some more of what Nick had in his mock.
Okay.
Just for he has Bailey going number 2, Jeremiah Love at 3, Arvo Reese 4 to the Tennessee Cardinal. Tate's the first wide receiver off the board to the Giants. Mansour Delane and Ruben Bain go right before the Chiefs would select at 9.
That's
so
how they end up getting Tyson.
Exactly, yeah. Downs goes 10 to the Giants.
Here's who's going to be here tonight with us in Pittsburgh. So 16 players. I'm not going to name all 16, but the names we've been talking about in Kansas City. So Caleb Downs is here. Arvell Reese is here. Carnell Tate is here. Caden Proctor, the tackle we talked about. Bain is here. David Bailey is here. Mansour Delane is here. Mekhi Lemon is
Colton
here.
Hood?
Jordan Tyson, Colton Hood. So, yeah, a good chunk of the names we've been talking about, but McCoy is not here.
If they end up taking Colton Hood, you got to ask him about the celebration with the hood.
Will do.
The little hood flap, if you will, whatever
We'll do that. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah, it'd be awesome if both their picks were here. That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, that would be very lucky
Stay
for us.
tuned to our social media tonight. We are hoping to talk to whoever the Chiefs do draft at 9 and 29, assuming they are here in Pittsburgh. Again, 16 players are. The chances of one of the 16 being here, actually, when you got 2 picks in the first round, is pretty darn good. So
it's not bad when you think about the fact,
unless they trade out of the first round or something. Yeah,
those are the expected picks. Well, and they might, but if they trade up, then it's an even greater likelihood that one of those 2 guys are available. If they trade up, at 29, not trade up at 3, in which they would likely have to give up pick 29. But we can talk about that more when we come back from break.
Chiefs Red Half Hour is brought to you by our friends over at the Leavenworth PD. Be a cop, be yourself. Build your career at Leavenworth PD. Apply today at leavenworthks.gov/police. Up next, we got a quick what's trending in as we continue broadcasting live from PNC Park ahead of the NFL Draft.
What's up, KC? It's Matt Strom from the Kansas City Royals. You're listening to Cody and Gold on your home for Royals baseball, 96.5 The Fan.
Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. 96.5 The Fan.
Whether you're looking for a Bronco, an Explorer, an F-150, or even a commercial vehicle, Robside Ford has the selection.
That's right, Kevin. We've got it all. And we've got the lowest prices in Kansas City. No gimmicks, just great deals on every new Ford.
And it's not just inventory, it's how you do business. Robside Ford makes it very simple.
We do it different on purpose. Non-commissioned sales team, upfront transparent pricing, top dollar trade-in values, and a process that's actually easy.
You've even got the reputation to back it up, Bobby. Kansas City's only top-rated Ford dealer on Google. 4.8 stars, 3,000 reviews. Wow.
And this year, we're proud to be voted Best Car Dealership in KC by Kansas City Magazine.
So if you're ready for a better car buying experience,
come see us at 135th and State Line or check us out at robsight.com.
From Broncos to F-150s to work trucks, Robside Ford has what you need.
If you want simple and easy, you're not going to find a better spot.
Robside Ford. Buy right. Drive happy.
FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day during the playoffs. We're talking those special drops you won't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. And the best part, it's every single day. Just head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. Maybe you want to look at series pricing, and instead of betting an individual game, you want to be able to go and bet overall how many games a particular playoff series is going to go, or who could end up with the most points during that series. You name it, you can check it all out on the FanDuel app and use some of their trends and research tools that are right there in the app. So whether you're betting the early game or gearing up for primetime, make sure you open the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA and the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are not withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
Look, we all have those moments where we have to say no. No to a round of golf, no to a long walk, or even just no to getting out of the chair because your knees or your back aren't cooperating. But as we head into vacation season, think about the people waiting for you to say yes. Your family, your friends, they want the real you back, the one who isn't sidelined by chronic pain. I want to help you turn that corner. At QC Kinetics, they specialize in regenerative treatments that get you back in the game without surgery or without endless recovery months. Be honest with yourself for a second. Does joint pain keep you up at night? Are you at the end of your rope leaning on daily meds just to get through a shift at work? If you're nodding your head, you're exactly who QC Kinetics helps every single day. The best part, it's done right in their office with no downtime. So call them today for that free 5 in State Line or in Glass.
We're in the Midwest, where tornadoes are real and our water table is high. So we practically tap a well every time we dig a basement. As a plumber, I can tell you that water always wins. This month, we have a sump pump special. $200 off a main pump or $400 off a battery backup system. Protect your basement. If you haven't used us yet, we would love to win you over. Visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Dell PCs with Intel inside are built for the moments you plan and the ones you don't. For the time you forgot your charger at the gate.
Passengers, we are now on our initial ascent.
Or when you're bouncing between projects like a ping pong ball. We build PCs with long-lasting battery life, so you're not scrambling for an outlet. And built-in intelligence, so you can stay focused on whatever you're doing. Dell Tech.
Everyone talks about clicks, but clicks don't pay the bills. Sales do. Outcomes from Viant is a new way to advertise that prioritizes your budget.ai.
My name is Whitney Allen, and I'm a widow. My husband, Ryan, died. We never thought we'd ever have to use life insurance, but the unexpected happened. With Ethos, signing up was fast and 100% online. You can get a quote in seconds, apply in minutes, and get same-day coverage. No medical exams, and you can get up to $3 million worth of coverage. I'm grateful we were prepared.
Get your free quote at ethos.com/play. That's ethos.com/play. Paid spokesperson. Time spent on application may vary. Online health questions required.
DQ presents the Blizzard Double Flip Deal. For a limited time, when you buy one Blizzard treat, you get a second for just 99 cents. That's 2 Blizzards, 2 spoons, 2 flavors, and 2 flips. So don't miss out on the Blizzard Double Flip Deal, available only for a limited time and happening now at DQ. Because the only thing better than a Blizzard treat is a second Blizzard treat for just 99 cents. It's a deal to flip for. The Blizzard Double Flip Deal. Get it in the app. Participation may vary.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of Blue. The Fan's draft party is Thursday, April 23rd, live from the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill starting at 6 o'clock. 96.5 The Fan, KFNZ FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station. What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti. What's Trending is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor, all things parking lot.
Number one on What's Trending, of course, we are live in Pittsburgh at PNC Park and set for night one of the NFL Draft. The Chiefs on the clock at pick 9 and 29 as things stand right now, but a lot of noise today about the possibility of them trading up or trading down. We'll get back into what Tom Pelissero had to say this morning. You and I both think we're at the point now where nobody nationally really knows what the hell the Chiefs are going to do. Like, they have effectively told everybody every possible scenario. Because I feel like we've heard every scenario for the Kansas City Chiefs over the last month and a half, 2 months or so. But it is a gorgeous day in Pittsburgh. 75 degrees. We're out in the outfield area. Fans are able to walk back and forth and grab some drinks and food. Still, we are 2 hours into the show, and I am not kidding you. We have seen, I don't know, at least 20 different fan bases represented.
At least.
Where are the Chiefs fans at? I sent out a tweet. I've seen 20-plus fan bases, not one single Chiefs jersey yet, which is shocking.
I'm waiting. I'm still waiting. Hopefully the next person comes through. But like you said, pay attention to our socials. We'll have plenty of exclusive content. If the Chiefs draft pick is here tonight. We expect to be able to talk to them after they are selected as well. Next up on What's Trending, it's announced today that Derek Johnson will be the most recent member of the Chiefs Hall of Fame. Clark Hunt put out a statement to the fans today. He's the Chiefs' all-time leading tackler. I covered a good chunk of his career here in Kansas City. He was available every single week, Gold. Stood by his locker, talked once a week, and was available after every single game. But also, I think because at the end, he had lost maybe some of that, like, massive athleticism, you forgot just how good he was in the early days, too. He was a part of that defense. Him, Justin Houston, and Eric Berry, that was a really talented defense that was top 5 in the league a number of years. So congrats to DJ.
Oh yeah, he's a guy that absolutely deserves his spot in the Chiefs Hall of Fame and Ring of Honor. Of course, he's been coming on with our morning show for a couple of years as well. You're right. When you think about the ability to tackle and be violent on the football field, he definitely is that mold of a linebacker, and you don't see that as much in the NFL, frankly.
Nope.
For a guy that can go sideline to sideline with that kind of athleticism out of Texas, and that's who Derek Johnson was. So obviously, really cool honor, and looking forward to seeing that happen. That ceremony happen at some point during the season. Elsewhere on What's Trending, the Royals off today. They lost yesterday in their series finale, 6-8 or 8-6, I should say. They are off, and then coming up this weekend, they welcome in the Angels to Kauffman Stadium. That'll be tomorrow. Noah Cameron on the mound at 6:40 here on 96.5 The Fan.
Winning streak starts tomorrow, boys.
Oh, yeah?
At least, I don't know. Hope so. Next up on What's Trending, Mike Vrabel has said he will seek treatment, or counseling is the way he put it, and will not be around for the final round of the NFL draft, so the Saturday version. He will be around for Thursday and Friday of the draft. This, according to some reports, says that he will be, I guess, as the way they put it was, Mike Florio's reporting that he was asked 2 hours before from the New York Post if he had any comments of some even more photos that have surfaced of the two of them at a bar, apparently kissing, 6 years ago in 2020. And it was 2 hours after that he announced he will instead seek counseling. So we will see which comes of it. He's obviously not saying what the counseling's for, but his life's a bit of a mess at the moment because of a lot of personal stuff, and he will not be around for the rounds 4 through 7 for the New England Patriots.
Okay.
Bad offseason considering he's coming off of a Super Bowl trip in his first year as the coach of the New England Patriots.
Yeah, but based on the new reporting that's out, I mean, this sounds like this is something that has been going back since his days as Tennessee Titans head coach.
Yeah. Well, I mean, that 2021, they said somebody ran the number. Like, it was that photo of them kissing in that bar from the New York Post. It was 3 days after that she reported that they weren't interested in Tom Brady and they were going after Ryan Tannehill. Like, that's just not a good look. It's just not a good look. And it really hurts I'll say from Rossini's perspective, horrible for women in her field. You know, he chased his girlfriend, reportedly assaulted a cop. He's going to get out of this without going to jail at all and not get any prison sentence. It might be cleared from his record if he completes a 6-month period. This means he's probably still going to play for the Falcons.
Yeah, my guess is
he'll still get suspended. He can still be suspended under the personal conduct policy.
He'll get a suspension this year, but then he's going to go back to playing. Yeah, I mean, I think that's where it's at, and the Falcons are certainly catching a break at this point, no doubt.
Doesn't feel like justice, man. I can't. That's all he got. That's crazy.
That's what's trending.
Have a good lawyer, I guess.
That's what's trending here on Cody and Gold. Someone on the text line says, what did you expect? The Chiefs fans... Pittsburgh's not a death. Here we go. We're from KC. Thank you. There we go.
He was wearing a Travis Kelce jersey.
About time.
He was in a group of people wearing like 8 different jerseys too, so I almost didn't see it.
Man, I sent out a tweet and everything. We've been on the air for 2 hours. We've been here for 3 hours at PNC Park in this mini radio row we have with some of our sister stations, other Odyssey stations across the country, Pittsburgh, D.C., Baltimore here. And I've been shocked that it took this long. But I'm glad you spotted it. There it was, a Travis Kelce Chiefs jersey. Thank you.
He was wearing the Kansas City hat, too. That's what got me.
The texter said it's not a destination trip for Chiefs fans. I agree. I think Chiefs fans have spent their money on Super Bowls and playoff tickets and otherwise, and I don't know if the draft is the event you're going to spend a ton of money to go to. But I will say 20 other fan bases, though, we 21 fan bases we've now seen represented here. So, yeah, I think it depends. There was somebody that texted in earlier that said they live in Cleveland. They're a Chiefs fan. should they make the 2-hour drive? And we said, yeah, absolutely, it's worth a 2-hour drive up here to Pittsburgh. As we keep saying it, like, it is a perfect day here. They've done a great job with the setup, and we've had a fun time we've been here now not quite 24 hours yet still, and it's been a good setup here in Pittsburgh.
I know watch training's been over, but I just saw an article come across worth at least putting the reporting out, and then we'll talk some of the draft. Dave Merritt, the Chiefs defensive back coach, has been charged with misdemeanor domestic battery according to court filing. Shortly after 9:30 a.m. on Thursday, filed a complaint against Dave Lee Merritt Sr. of Stillwell, accusing him of unlawfully, unknowingly, or recklessly causing bodily harm, which constitutes a domestic violence offense. It says it was to his daughter at the time. It says he's scheduled to make his first appearance at 2 p.m. in Johnson County District Court. There's no other information other than that, just letting you know. Just passing it along. Currently, no bond has been set, and he's, like I said, scheduled to be in court at 2.
Well, yeah, I don't have much more to say on that.
No, I mean, until there's more details, there's not much more to say on that. But I would say that if the Chiefs could have a single offseason without a coach or a player getting in trouble, that'd be cool.
That's the thing, man.
If they could just go one 6-month off-season cycle without a single coach or player at least getting in a whiff of trouble.
3 years now?
I mean, dude, it's 10 straight. I mean, I'd have to really go through it. I can't think of the last time the Chiefs got through an off-season without some story happening somewhere. Like, genuinely, I can't think of an offseason in which they did it. So we'll see. That reporting coming from Bob Cronkleton. He's a journalist over at the Kansas City Star.
Okay, we'll keep an eye on that. Unfortunate news, no matter how it ends up being sorted out. Unfortunate news to see that particular headline come across for Chiefs defensive back coach Dave Merritt. All right, let's get back into the draft here. And in particular, a lot of the noise that is out there. And starting with Tom Pelissero, once again suggesting that the Chiefs are a team he thinks are most likely to trade up. Here's what he said this morning.
Maybe not.
All right, we don't have that audio ready. We will try to get to what
Sorry,
Tom
guys,
Pelissero
I was answering a question. What was the audio from Tom?
Just Tom Pelissero this morning, the cut from NFL Network.
At 3 and 4 with the Cardinals and the Titans. Both teams, from my understanding, are open to trading. And there are other teams in the top 10 that have at least checked in on what it would take to move up. The Saints, who are at 8, are interested in moving up in the draft. The Chiefs at 9. Could that be for Arvell Reese if he's not the number 2 overall pick? Could that be for the top offense of round 1? There's going to be an offensive tackle run. Everybody expects the Lions sitting there at 17. Everyone knows what their need is. If you want your preferred tackle and it's not one of those guys going right at the top, get above them. Go to 15 or 16. See if you can get something done.
15 or 16 is still going to require a good pick. We know that, right? Like, you're going to have to give up pick 40.
29 and 40, probably. I don't know if the metrics match that gold with the value of the picks or not, but that's probably it, right?
Yeah, I mean, I can pull up the trade chart and see exactly, but I think that's about right. Look, I think there's just so much smoke out there about every possible scenario, as I said, right now for Kansas City. I just can't think of trading up making a lot of sense. Trading back, by all means, if a team wants to come up to 9, I'm not against that. I think that could actually end up being really nice for Kansas City if Reese, Bailey, and Bain are not available anymore at 9. There's an argument the Chiefs should be actively trying to get the hell out of the 9th pick. I know we've gone through and we've all said, hey, I'm fine with drafting Tyson or fine with drafting Caleb Downs. But there's a strong argument to be made if the number 1 need, in my opinion, is defensive end, and you tell me the 3 defensive end options in the early part of the first round are not on the board, I should be trying to get out of that pick. But who's trading up at that point then? If I tell you Bain's off the board, then why are the Cowboys trading up if he's not available? So I just don't know how you find the partner to do that, but I would be more interested in them trading back. Trading up, the only position that remotely makes sense is for a defensive lineman. If they trade up for an offensive tackle, I think it's a massive mistake. Way too rich for that particular position that you have already spent so much draft capital and money in.
I just think a lot of times it's genuinely, if Arvell Reese is the only one, or I guess Bailey, it's the only ones in which tomorrow I'll at least try to talk myself into it. I still won't like it. I'll just be honest with you. I still won't think it's a good idea. But I will at least entertain its merit. If it is for a tackle, it's idiotic. It's stupid. It's dumb. If it's for a wide receiver, it's stupid. It's a bad decision. It's not even like there's a moral, not moral. There's not even a gray area for me. It's just a bad idea, Gold. The only ones who would make sense are doing this. And I think Briscoe's right. This has been so obvious for about a week straight that the people who are leaking, that there are people trying to get to 3 or 4 and 6, are the 3 teams actively trying to get out of 3, 4, and 6. Like, this is coming clearly from the Cardinals and Titans, who realize they don't want to pick where they are, and the Browns, who realize they don't want to pick where they are. And if you're a team trading up right now, there's too many good choices to trade up, to require trading with any of them in a weird way, because I'm not trading to 3. I could easily trade to 4, and the Cardinals don't even want to make the pick. Or I can easily trade to 8 with the Saints, or 9, honestly, with the Chiefs. I don't have to get as high as they're getting unless I'm dead set on Arvell, Reese, or Bailey, and this isn't the draft for it. If it were Myles Garrett at the top, people would be having a very different conversation. But you know how funny that is, Gold? When those picks happen, what does the team do? They take the guy. When it's a for sure, no doubter, can't miss prospect in that spot, they take him. I just don't think it makes sense. I'd be really stunned, I guess, in a lot of ways if it were to take place. I don't think they're trading. I think they could trade up at 29. That wouldn't surprise me. They've done that multiple times.
We've seen it happen.
They did it with McDuffie. They love trading up in the bottom of the first.
Yeah, absolutely. 29 to 22, 29 to 25. Those are also easier trades to pull off. And that's why it's more likely. It's not just that this regime has done it. It's just far more likely to be able to pull off a trade there versus who is, again, if we're sitting here and saying, oh, trade back at 9 because your guy's not on the board, then who's on the board that another team actually wants? I think they just have too many position opportunities there at 9 that if they're trading back, it's a player that they're already interested in. Like, I think the Cowboys to trade up, they're likely interested in Bain as well. And so why you wouldn't be trading them with the Cowboys so they could draft Bain?
Yeah, no.
The Cowboys might try to trade up to the Saints spot at 8.
I could see that, sure.
And jump ahead of Kansas City for that particular pick.
But I guess here's what it all boils down to in the end, and the trade-up stuff is. I think they need at least one defensive lineman, a corner, a safety, a wide receiver, an offensive tackle. I've listed 5 positions that I think are of need. You got 4 picks in the top 74. Why? Why? When you could just get something at every position of need in the top 100 picks, are you trading up at 3 and giving up 2 of them? Why would you do that to yourself? In a year, if the roster was in a more just like concrete position, like even the one they were in a couple years ago, if they were in a more concrete position, I'd be having a slightly different conversation about it, you know? I'd be a little more convinced that it was worth it. What are you pointing at over there?
No, but you get more Chiefs fans now. Now they're starting to show up. Now we're starting to see some Chiefs fans representing those. So, we got
see a guy in a pierogi costume.
Well, my favorite part about my favorite part about
what's he drinking that beer?
My favorite part so far, Cody, about being in this Radio Row setup. So we don't have any signage. Okay, so nobody knows what station we're at. Okay, I'm bringing that up for a reason. Okay. So these 3 women just came by and pointed and said, love the show. Okay, now I would love to take that as a compliment, but there's no way they know. They weren't wearing any Chiefs gear, okay?
Were they wearing Pittsburgh gear?
Lions gear. So I just am not convinced. So they think we're clearly somebody else.
Sure.
And that has happened numerous times today. And I say, of course, we wave back, but there's no way they know who we are.
Maybe they just like to.
There's no chance.
They got
Whereas like the Pittsburgh station, of course, they got like 15 people huddled around their table. We're in Pittsburgh. It makes sense. But that's the second or third time people have walked by and said, "Oh, love listening to the show," but they're not wearing Chiefs gear and we're in Pittsburgh. There's no way they listen. They think we're somebody else.
Now I want to go through all the sports talk hosts photos of the sports talk hosts in Detroit.
There's no way they know.
And see if you just like look like Mark Ryan or something. And
there's no
find
way.
out if there's just some guy that you look like. What I can't figure out, I need you to look. There's a guy. He's got a Surfside. He's in a pierogi costume. He's drinking it. How's he drinking that?
Wait, what?
This guy in the pierogi costume has a beer.
Yeah.
How is it? Do you think he's drinking this?
He's not holding it.
I saw him hold the drink.
There's probably an opening. There's probably an opening in the outfit.
Where?
I don't know. It's a miniature hot dog costume.
I'll be watching.
It's a pierogi,
go on over there and ask him, Cody.
Oh, here we go. We're getting a better look. He's walking over. Mrs. T's.
Maybe he was just carrying the drink for somebody.
Yeah, he's not drinking out of that. There's no way. There's no way.
I saw him carry a drink. Him, her?
I will
He's got a
say this:
mustache, so it's probably a him.
thinking of just watching people watching since we've been here in Pittsburgh. Well, the pierogi just ran into somebody. The pierogi.
He had
oh,
too
the
much surf
pierogi's
something,
coming over to the table. What's going on? We were trying to figure out how you were drinking a Surfside or something over there. See, you talk about the pierogi, and he makes his way over here. I was saying, Cody.
knocked that woman to the
I
ground
think I've seen Jay Binkley. I think I've seen Jay Binkley here in Pittsburgh about 20 different times so far. See, it just happened again. Someone
Maybe
just
that's a Pittsburgh look.
It just happened.
I'm just way back.
I am. It happened again. That person's wearing Steelers gear. There's no way they think we're with the Steelers station. This is hilarious.
That's fine.
Anyway, Binkley, I'm convinced, is actually in Pittsburgh. Did you see the photo? Yeah. Did you see the photo we put out on the station account last night? That was Jay Binkley.
You think Binkley was born in the wrong city?
Oh,
as a football fan,
he'd be a perfect Pittsburgh.
He would be a
Yes, sir.
perfect. He would be a perfect Pittsburgh resident.
Yeah.
He would fit right in at Lou's little corner bar. He'd be right on the.
Someone was asking, "Are we wearing Chiefs gear?" We have we have to put on a media pass and quote unquote work. So no, we can't wear Chiefs gear in the back in the draft area that we're going to be at. So right now I'm not, but we are. Someone says, "Why aren't you wearing any KC?" Again, cannot wear Chiefs, and we don't. I have a 96.5 The Fan T-shirt on underneath the quarter zip.
If we had time to change, I would have. But and this, you can email steven.spector@odyssey.com. I don't have a 96.5 The Fan polo. I don't own one. It doesn't exist. If I owned one, I'd be wearing it.
Careful now.
Yeah, sure
Careful now.
If I owned one, I wear it.
Careful.
So I need Steve. I need Spec to get us some polos. I'd be in one right now.
Yeah.
But I don't have a polo.
Careful.
Okay.
So I didn't say anything. I just said we don't have them. And then I gave our boss's email, which is public knowledge anyway.
Yeah.
I didn't give out his personal cell phone.
The
I'm
other
not
thing,
a monster.
the other thing from yesterday. So we mentioned the bar story earlier, first night in Pittsburgh, but we also went to the famous Primanti Brothers here, which I didn't think I was going to like it. So they're known for what? What did you call it? Just like different types of meat sandwich.
Yeah.
Is that how you
that's
describe
pretty
it?
much almost like it's not a delicatessen, but those are the sandwiches they're famous for.
It
right?
was amazing.
Bread between meat and cheese.
So I got the steak one with cheese and bread. And some people on the photo said it didn't look good. I'm telling you guys know I'm the pickiest eater at the station. This thing was amazing. I could have had another. I actually kind of want to go back today if we have time. It was good and it was cheap. It was like $12.
Oh, it really was.
$12 for this sandwich. It was awesome. There's fries inside the sandwich. So it's fries, steak, bread, cheese. It was so good.
It was, Drew. And he skipped an ingredient. Mine had coleslaw.
Yeah, I said no coleslaw.
Now, coleslaw, like a vinegar base, I'll tell you right now, it was essentially just having like a salad on top of it. The flavor profile of it.
Wasn't as mayo-y?
No, it's vinegary. It's very light. And the flavor profile just adds like a crunch, adds a good texture to it. It was an excellent sandwich. Like sometimes the food of the region is overhyped, and I get that. I like to think that's not normally the case because the way people talk about KC barbecue is revered in the way that it should be and is in my heart. I thought the Primanti's sandwich was really good. I was very pleased with it. You know, the local chain. We didn't go to the OG one, I guess. People were complaining.
No,
It's
lived
like,
up to the hype. Anytime you travel, you want to, as you said, you want to go and check out. Just like when people come to KC, you want them to check out the barbecue and everything. And
So you haven't done the Inzer accent then yet, correct?
I have not done that yet.
But there was a bar, Drew. There's a bar right by our Airbnb, and it would be the perfect spot for Cody to walk in and get his ass kicked.
I did.
It really would.
I went ahead and I looked it up. I forget the name of it, Cody.
Lou's
what
Little
was it?
Corner Bar.
So I looked it up, and one of the pictures, it was very dim lighting. It screams of they're playing the piano, there's music playing. You guys walk in, and everything stops. No music, no anything,
Yes.
no talking.
As someone takes a quiet drag from their cigarette,
And everybody
and
just
they
turns
look
and
at
looks at
you,
you guys.
and they're like, "Who the hell is this guy?"
Yeah.
And you're like, "Hi guys,
Oh, man.
how do you do?" Not gonna get mine. I mean, it definitely looks like the kind of place where they would immediately know.
They'd
that I
recommend
did
that you
not
guys
belong.
leave right away. Like
I guess
yeah.
Pittsburgh's got a lot of bars that got grandfathered in when they got rid of smoking, and are still grandfathered in. So there's a bunch of like little bars all throughout town that you can still smoke at. Which, Drew, you weren't old enough to even go to. Like, I'm old enough. I went to a bar when you could still smoke. I remember going, like, you'd go to bars and that's what it was like. That was every bar you went to.
Mm-hmm.
And so, like, but now it seems so foreign and crazy that I would, like, I don't think I would ever actively choose a place in which people were smoking inside. It's going to make everything I own stink.
Yeah, I have no interest in going in there.
I just know that I'd probably get my ass.
We'll see. We have some other ideas. We have something else we were working on. We'll see if we end up fully executing it or
this is a
not.
good spot
But
to
we've had a great time so far in Pittsburgh. Everybody's been very nice. Die-hard sports town, which we've always heard. And there goes the Pirates mascot as well. We've run into people that are very, very passionate, like Kansas City. So that's been pretty cool, man.
Yeah, very much so. Been a lot of fun so far. Looking forward to, obviously, the next day and a half here as well. And then, of course, all the draft talk you guys can desire. When we come back, can we talk about – I think there's two things I want to talk about when we come back. I want to talk about the two potential trades that are getting rumored around the Chiefs. And then I want to talk about how a non-rumored trade in George Pickens might also have an impact on the draft. And so there's two of those that we haven't gotten into yet that I think both do have a factor in tonight's NFL draft.
Let's do that, plus the random question of the day as we continue broadcasting live from PNC Park in Pittsburgh.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in for the Chiefs Red Half Hour every day, starting at 11:30 right here on your home for Chiefs football. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
What matters to you matters to us. That's why Busey Bank takes the time to understand your goals and build solutions that fit your story. From everyday banking to long-term planning, our team is here to help you navigate every stage with care and expertise. We're more than a bank. We're your neighbor, your advisor, and your advocate. Busey Bank, building business, growing wealth since 1868. Member FDIC.
This is the story of the one. As a procurement manager for a hospital system, she keeps every facility in her network stocked and ready. That's why she counts on Grainger to be her single source for thousands of products, from disinfectants to lighting, air filters, and more. And with fast, dependable delivery, Grainger helps her keep every facility stocked, safe, and running smoothly. Call 1-800-GRAINGER, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
This is one of my favorite times of the sports calendar, and FanDuel is celebrating it right. FanDuel is serving up a happy hour every day of the NBA playoffs. We're talking special drops that you don't want to miss, from profit boosts to bonus bets and more. The best part of this is it's every single day. All you need to do is head to FanDuel.com/local to get started. I absolutely love the NBA playoffs. I'm talking of every day, every night. Incredible basketball played at the highest level by the biggest stars in the game. So it doesn't matter if it's a buzzer beater or it's a series sweep. They got you covered over on FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook app. So whether you're betting the early game or you're getting ready for the prime time, make sure that you open up the FanDuel app and see what's waiting for you today. Go to FanDuel.com/local to get started. That's FanDuel.com/local. FanDuel, an official partner of the NBA and also the official sportsbook of 96.5 The Fan. 21 in President, Missouri. Opt-in required. Rewards are non-withdrawable. Restrictions apply, including bonus and token expiration, leg requirements, and max wager amount. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER.
So, you're ready to propose, huh?
Yeah, man. She's definitely the one.
What are we thinking about the ring? I got my wife's at Hellsberg. I couldn't recommend a better jeweler.
I could use some help with that.
Man, go to Hellsberg. I had no idea how many details you need to consider. Did you know you can get a natural or lab-grown diamond? I didn't. Figure out what she wants. Trust me, they'll make it happen.
Start your story with Hellsberg. Shop in store or at hellsberg.com.
Imagine buying your next car from one dealership.
With the support of many.
With everything you'll ever need.
I'm McCall with Lee Summit Subaru, and there's a lot of reasons why you should buy from us. How about being Google's highest review rated and your first maintenance is free? Every vehicle comes with a lifetime powertrain warranty. You'll fall in love with driving again at Lee Summit Subaru.
From north, central, south, the Volston Auto Group has you covered.
A family committed to
excellence, growth,
and harmony.
What's got everyone talking?
That would be Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill on 135th and Null and 119th and Quivira.
What's got everyone talking?
Everyone's talking about our daily specials, the best burgers and wings in town, great selection of beer and spirits, Oh, it's the dozens of TVs showing your favorite game.
That's what's got everyone talking.
This is Giannis, and now we're talking at Talk of the Town Neighborhood Bar and Grill.
If you're carrying a lot of credit card or personal loan debt, every month can start to feel the same. All those bills, all those due dates, all that stress. There's a solution that's designed to make it easier for you. National Debt Relief could put you on the fast track to paying off your credit card debt, personal loans, and even medical debt for less than you owe, with just one low monthly payment you can afford. And no, it's not bankruptcy or a debt consolidation loan. It's a real, affordable debt relief program that could save you lots of money. National Debt Relief has already helped over 1 million people with their debt and has thousands of 5-star reviews and an A+ rating from the Better Business Bureau. So if you owe $10,000 or more, don't wait. Call 800-300-4411 now to see if you qualify. That's 800-300-4411. One call could help reduce what you owe and simplify your monthly payments. Call 800-300-4411 now to find out how much you could save.
And Doug. There's nowhere I wouldn't go to help someone customize and save on car insurance with Liberty Mutual, even if it means playing in a football game. Boom! 42! You're going down, Doug! Oh, yeah? Your price on car insurance when you customize and save is going down. Hey! Limu? What are you doing on their team? Only pay for what you need at LibertyMutual.com.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
In today's fast-moving job market, staying ahead means keeping your skills sharp. At University of Maryland Global Campus, we help keep your capabilities cutting edge with our skills-based education programs designed to move your career forward. Explore more than 135 degrees and certificates in business, cybersecurity, and more. Apply now and save with no application fee. Classes start May 13th. Learn more at umgc.edu. Certified to operate in Virginia by Chef.
Royals coverage on The Fan, sponsored by Salvation Army Kick Hunger Civic Lunch on May 7th. Get ready to kick off a summer of soccer in Kansas City while fighting hunger. Join the Salvation Army for the Kick Hunger Civic Lunch 2026 May 7th. Score big for local families in need. Grab your tickets or table today at kickhungerkc.com. That's kickhungerkc.com.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
All right, we're back here on 96.5 The Fan. We are live in Pittsburgh at PNC Park, getting set for round one of the NFL draft. We had our first Mendoza jersey sighting of fans walking by. Someone already has a Raiders.
But he doesn't know what number he's going to wear for sure.
I know. It's he is a number 15 Fernando Mendoza jerseys. We got some Chiefs fans walking by as well.
Another one right behind.
Yeah, we got now we're starting to see more Chiefs fans. I was worried the first 2 hours, man.
I was too.
I was a little concerned, but now we got good representation out here. I feel much better about when the Chiefs get on the clock at 9. That's going to be plenty loud here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I think so, or at least that. But, I mean, the Mendoza thing, what if he just chooses to wear a different number as a pro?
Well, then that guy's going to have to buy a different jersey.
Could you imagine what would happen if they, didn't take him? How sick you'd feel? You'd be like,
They're taking him.
I know, but come on. I do say that it is the only jersey I would purchase of a player a team drafted right away. Quarterback.
Oh, yeah,
is
absolutely.
the only one I would buy day one. Not if the Chiefs take Carnell Tate number 9, I'm not buying a Carnell Tate jersey tomorrow. Too risky. I'm not buying too risky. I don't care if the Cardinals take Jeremiah Love 3. Don't go buy a Love jersey yet. Just wait a little bit. Quarterback, that's the one you can buy. The other ones, wait 2 years. Make sure they're going to be here a little bit.
No, is
that a bad strategy?
No, I understand it. No,
I think it's fair.
But I do think you and I both know that at training camp this year, if the Chiefs, if it's an offensive tackle, no. But if the Chiefs draft Jordan Tyson or Reuben Bain, there will be plenty of those jerseys up in St. Joe at training camp this year.
I know.
The only jersey that we won't see is if they draft a tackle. But if they draft a wide receiver, a corner is more iffy, I would say. But if they draft a wide receiver or a defensive end, at pick 9 or 29, you'll see a ton of those jerseys already up here. But, man, we're 6 hours away? Less than 6 hours away?
Something like
Something-ish, right around there?
Yeah.
From round 1 of the draft starting
Six
tonight.
and a half?
6.5 hours. Look, you're starting to feel a little bit more of the energy around Pittsburgh and around our location here at PNC Park, man. You were mentioning something before we went to break, though. I know you wanted to make sure we get into.
Yes, I did. I want to talk about the 2 trade possibilities that are being mentioned around the Chiefs, and then we can talk some George Pickens, which also interests me because, Stephen Jones was like, he's playing under the tag. I don't care if he likes it or not. And you're like, that isn't even the sidestep of Jerry Jones almost falling over himself to try to shake hands with Bill Clinton, which was also fun.
He almost broke a hip. He was about to break a hip.
That man was about to go to urgent care.
That could have ended really badly for Jerry Jones there. Fortunately, that was not the case.
So well, set that aside for just a minute. But because draft day rumors happen, there are 2 players who are rumored to be drafted or be traded for first, late first, or early second-round picks. Guess what the Chiefs have both of? An early second-round pick and a late first. More interested in Brian Thomas Jr. with the Chiefs' 29th overall pick or Kyle Pitts with pick 40. If I gave you the choice of one of those 2 trades for the Chiefs tonight, once tomorrow, but you get the point. Which one would you rather have?
Kyle
so
Pitts.
the thing with
you said Pitts quick.
You guys know I don't even have to really answer this. If anybody that's listened to this show for 2 years, even if you haven't listened since day 1, you know.
But he finally broke out.
I have no interest in Kyle Pitts other than if he was a cheap free agent signing. I am not giving up draft assets to go and get Kyle Pitts, who, by the way, Cody, doesn't solve next year's problem. You'd have to figure out a contract for him next year,
if you trade for him, you're offering him an extension, and he's going to be one of the highest paid tight ends in the NFL.
And that's a mistake. I'm not paying Kelsey and Kyle Pitts this next season. No. Kyle Pitts might get moved. I think the Chiefs trading for him would be a big mistake. I know he's been a player you've wanted Kansas City to trade for. He's coming off a nice season.
I finally moved off that for a while.
no interest in Kyle Pitts. Absolutely not. So if I have to choose between the 2, I'll take the Brian Thomas deal where they have 3 years of control still remaining. For example, he's only 23 years old. They to me, I would rather them just wait until 3rd round and draft Oscar Delp or Eli Stowers, late 2nd round or something like that. I do not want them giving up draft assets for a 1-year rental or a long-term extension that you are basically at a necessity you would have to have for Kyle Pitts. No.
It just feels like why not wait to see if they're going to franchise tag him a second time and get him in free agency? If he's not going to get a long-term deal done, now that's saying maybe that's why they want to trade him, right? Falcons might find a trade partner because they're like, well, he's not staying with us either way, so we got to figure it out. Brian Thomas Jr., I would sprint. Run. Beg them to take it.
To give a 40 or 29?
Either. Certainly 40. 29, Drew, I'd do in a second. Maybe I'm delusional. He's coming off a bad year, and I know that that's part of the concern, or the general concern, right? He's coming off a 48-catch season with 707 yards, right? So he averaged quite a bit less yards per game than he did the year before. He only played 14 games versus 17, so I do want to point that out from the total yardage perspective. The man has 1,989 yards in 2 seasons of work. What I'm not going to ignore that. Those are real numbers, man. Those are tangible. I get the fact that he only had 2 touchdowns last year to 10 he had before. But any wide receiver at age 22 in the NFL who can put 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns on the board in his rookie year and is available for a first-round pick rather than me have to take KC, Concepcion, or Boston, of course I'd rather have that. Like, if they're thinking about a wide receiver at 29 instead, Brian Thomas is the safer choice, I would argue. How is it not the safer choice?
Safer choice, yes, because you know what he has shown you something. I think the concern with Brian Thomas is what happened after year 1.
Yeah, I still think it might be a Liam Combs system thing.
What happened with the drops? Well, that the drops have nothing to do with the system, right? And that all of a sudden, Parker Washington and Jacoby Myers clearly were the 2 better receivers in that system. I understand scheme fit can mean something here, and I don't think Brian Thomas is bad, and I told you I'd be more interested in that trade if I had to do it. I don't really think they need to do either trade. I know we're having the conversation about Pitts and Thomas, and I get why we're talking about them, and I would choose Thomas over Pitts in this scenario. I don't think they need to do either. Thomas's drops really concern me. Now, it's interesting you bring up KC Concepcion, the wide receiver out of Texas A&M. he is drop city.
Yes.
So there's a lot. There's a lot of intrigue about him from an athleticism standpoint that I would be intrigued by.
Can't hold on to the football.
But man, the drops. So yes, if it was Concepcion or Brian Thomas at pick 29, well, yes, I will take
or
Brian.
Boston, or whoever the guy is you like at 29.
Yeah, sure, I would take Brian Thomas in that scenario because they both. If I'm concerned about Brian Thomas drops, then how can I tell you I'd rather just draft Concepcion? The rookie deal is the benefit you get, but I still have 2 more years plus a club option on Brian Thomas. This is not the same as a guy that has 1 year left and you got 1 year to make a decision to pay him or not pay him. It's not the same scenario.
No, you still have all the advantages we were just talking about.
The reason why I would do Pitts though is because we already know that you can't expect to have Travis Kelce with the next tight end after Travis Kelce's gone, but I do think they use tight end enough that if you look at Kyle Pitts' numbers, the 2 years in which he had 65 or more catches, he went for 1,928 yards. The other years, he never had more than 53. So the usage that he would get in the Chiefs' offense, I think, is why you take Kyle Pitts, because you know what he can do with proper usage. It's funny. He almost had 1,000 receiving yards last year and had his lowest average catch of his entire career. So I think that the way that they do the offense, Kyle Pitts makes more sense to trade for. I'd rather pick a wide receiver at 29, whether it be Boston, Brazel, or Skylar Bell, and wait until like the 3rd round or something like that. Then because I know how they would use him.
Sure, see, that's interesting. So I hear what you're saying. I guess I'm opposite. Like to me, I would rather than if we're talking about this in let's say Sadiq falls way more than we think, and Sadiq's there at 22.
I would trade for him in a heartbeat.
Or 29. I'd rather go that round than that route than trade pick 29 for Kyle Pitts.
Hold on, Cody. The question was 40 though. I thought, right? If it's 40
I
for
said
Kyle,
40 for
if it's 40 for Pitts, I would trade that. I would trade 40 for Kyle Pitts. Yes.
I knew at 29 there'd be a much
29. I would not.
A much stronger like gut reaction to say no, because I wouldn't do it for 29.
Yeah,
right?
I wouldn't either.
So like at
40, the only one Brian Thomas at 40. I still even at 40. I would be skeptical. I would say if I'm making that trade, then I need to know when I'm on the clock around 40. Is Stowers off the board already? Is Sadiq off the board already? And Stowers still might be out there at 40. I know
Sadiq won't.
Stowers is talked about like Kyle Pitts though. Like they're both talked about.
So
in the
I would
same
rather.
way.
So I would rather
the young player.
I would rather have the rookie contract advantage of Stowers than at pick 40 than drafting Pitts. Especially because we all know guys like the reason why I'm okay with the rookie, not only the contract advantage, but the rookie can ease in. If I draft Kyle Pitts, I'm not waiting. Oh well, he can take over Kelce next year. No, he's got to have a big impact and role this year.
They got to have the Gronk Hernandez.
Yeah, and I mean I don't know what Stowers. I don't know if Stowers did this in college, but you could throw Kyle Pitts in the slot, have Rasheed and Xavier Worthy, and then throw Kyle Pitts in the slot, and he's fast enough to beat a linebacker and big enough to body up a corner.
Like I would get the plan. I just like at 40,
the rookie contract is a big deal.
Man. Yeah. Brian Thomas would be a no doubter for me. At 40, I'd be even more. I wouldn't even.
At 40, I would do it for sure.
At 29, I might want like your 4th. At 40, I need nothing. You can just have 40, and I'll take Brian Thomas Jr. and we're all good. Great, nice seeing you. Good doing business, Jackson.
So do you guys think we see, whether it's, I guess, tomorrow as well, because tonight's just round 1. Today
know.
or tomorrow, do we think these 3 names, Pickens, Thomas Jr., Pitts, do any of the 3 get traded? A lot of times what happens with this noise, nothing ends up happening.
Pitts maybe because he's the player on the expiring contract.
Okay.
Right? You have no control over him. Gold, he could be a Chief next year. Honestly, I hope he doesn't get traded. Because then he can be the highest paid free agent tight end, but he can be available to solve Kansas City's tight end problem immediately.
Yeah. By the way, someone was on the text line saying, are you guys going to mention Dave Merritt? We did during What's Trending. I'll be honest, there's not much more to say. We don't know many details, but if you are just joining us, yes, we did acknowledge there's a report out there from the Kansas City Star that Chiefs defensive back coach Dave Merritt was arrested last night for a misdemeanor domestic battery charge. He's scheduled to appear in court this afternoon. The team is aware, provided the Kansas City Star, with no comment. That was the report. So, yeah, we're aware of it. I mean, I'll be honest, there's not much more to add. Obviously, it's a very serious matter. He's a defensive back coach. Great track record as a coach. Been a big reason why the secondary has developed the way they have. Let's see where it evolves from here. This is different than a player, and also we don't know much more. Yeah, so that's why there's not much of a full-blown conversation to be had. But, yes, we have acknowledged it. And if you're just joining us, it might be the first time you're hearing about it as well.
Same thing.
Obviously, really troubling to see that this is even a scenario that's in play now. As far as draft-related, it changes nothing for the draft tonight.
You don't think they need a corner if they don't have the coach to coach him?
Either way, it doesn't. You're not going to now say, "Oh, don't draft a corner because our coach may or may not actually be in legal trouble." I don't think it changes a damn thing right now. Now, long term, if this ends up right now he has been arrested. We'll see how it plays out.
He's supposed to go to court today, too.
We'll see how that part plays out and what the Chiefs' reaction is to it, but I don't think it alters the draft at all tonight or tomorrow.
No, it doesn't change anything on that end. It is deeply troubling that the Kansas City Chiefs front office and players.
Yeah, I hate seeing it.
They can't go one calendar year without someone getting in trouble.
Oh, for sure. No, I mean, it's
crazy.
I hate seeing the headline on
1 year
on draft day.
And so, you're right. On draft day, in the middle of this, they got to deal with something else with their coaching staff. It's not fun.
Yeah.
And it sounds serious, but again, we just need more detail, I guess, before we get to. You mentioned Pickens before we get to a random question. You make anything of it? It is kind of interesting as Stephen Jones. I just feel like a contract dispute between Pickens and the Cowboys can only end in, destruction. That seems like two immovable objects to me. Pickens doesn't seem like somebody who's going to cave on this one, and the Dallas Cowboys always wait until they're in the worst conceivable negotiating position before they start talking, which would be, I guess, next year? They're not going to double franchise tag him, are they? What's their end game here? Do you want Pickens here or not?
I think they claim they want to see more. I mean, it's the same. I mean, in fairness, normally, look, the Cowboys they love the attention. It's a clown show at times. But I actually will say this. George Pickens, for 1 year and a contract year, proved he can ball out and, for the most part, not have any issues, right? His issues were more like the one time where him and CeeDee Lamb, remember they were benched or whatever because of maybe not showing up on time or maybe out of the casino or some of the reports. Okay, in the grand scheme of things, that's nothing compared to, unfortunately, what we've talked about at times here in Kansas City. But also they want him to show that he can, for another year, go out there and put up the kind of numbers. I actually think from a football end and financial end, it's smart on the Cowboys because with the way the franchise tag is set up, unless he sits out all the way to Week 10 and picks up the accrued year still, I don't think he's doing that. The way the CBA is structured now, you don't really sit out.
No.
So they're forcing him to play.
But now the double franchise tag costs him $40 million a year. They're going to pay him that,
No, but if he goes out there and has 1,300 yards this year, then maybe they'll be willing to pay him.
But why would he want to stay, I guess? If he goes out
because he's not going to turn down that kind of money.
Sure, but somebody else will give it to him.
They control his rights though.
Not after the franchise tag year. That's my point, I guess. Is they do, but they'd have to double franchise tag.
That thing never plays. It never plays out that way though. We know that it never plays out that way. When's the last time
a player? He would just be a free agent.
No, but when's the last time it played out that way? Where a player, it's happened before, I understand. But when's the last time not a quarterback? It's happened with Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, I can't think of
a wide receiver got double tagged or even set up.
But I guess that's my point. Is that if he goes and balls out, he can go play for anybody. He doesn't have to be a Cowboy.
They'll just pay him then, or they'll trade him. They can tag and trade him.
But nobody's going to take on his contract if they tag him a second time.
Well, they'll sign him to an extension.
But what if he doesn't? My point is, what if he doesn't?
Because he wants long-term extension. He wants the long-term security.
I'm just saying he'd get that from anybody. It wouldn't have to be the Cowboys. They're risking losing Pickens altogether. Is my point.
Not this year. They're not. That's all they care about.
Year, no.
But what you're saying, I hear you. I'm saying even if it got to a point next February or this coming February, and they double tagged him only to trade him, you're saying that the next team has to pay him double tag. No, they don't. They can sign him to a long-term extension.
No. I'm saying I thought you were saying the Cowboys could. I was like, that's no guarantee.
They could.
Yeah, but for them, it's like. But now you're competing against the other 31 teams.
Yeah, I hear you.
And why would you be feeling particularly loyal to Dallas, even after you had a good season, knowing they had no interest in giving you the money when you wanted it?
Right.
Sometimes it just leaves a bad feeling, I guess, around all the negotiation, which certainly goes into that. All right, Drew, let's get to it.
Random question.
For you, Gold. For you, Drew. Text line 913-586-7965. And, of course, over on YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Facebook, we live stream the show every single day. You can interact with the show. We try to be back in the chats of those as well. Alex and I are actively trying to dodge a bee who is very interested in being in our area. Look, they're trying to fly up Gold's shirt. Oh, dude. Look, I get stuck.
These are like the Bumblebee uniforms for Steelers. I don't like this.
No, yeah, why aren't they more attracted to all the Steelers jerseys? It is legitimate. It will not leave Alex aside. I'm sorry. I promise I will ask a question in a minute.
I don't like this at all.
It is within 2 feet of Alex, and it will not leave.
All right, it's gone.
Flew away
all right, we're good.
But it was like a minute straight it flew near you.
We're good.
All right, 2 questions for you for the random question of the day. They're related. It's not 2 separate questions. They are related questions. Goes back to last night. Alex and I are staying in an Airbnb here. We were settling in for the evening, and Alex is like, yeah, he's going to put something on the TV. So the question I have for you first is, are you anti or pro television as you go to sleep? Simple question number 1. And number 2, what is the type or show that you feel going to bed to makes the most sense? Alex last night, Drew, before going to bed, threw on a war movie. He put on Hacksaw Ridge. And I thought, that's a crazy thing to put on before sleep.
Right.
And I watch TV as I go to bed. I want to make that clear. I'm pro TV before.
I do not do
Ridge
that.
Is crazy.
Need more details here, okay?
Yeah,
and
we aren't watching
information.
anything.
So we are at an Airbnb, and each one of the room we're in has its own TV or whatever. This is a smart TV, but I wasn't gonna log into all my stuff on this TV, and it was after 11 o'clock, and so I knew I was only gonna have the TV on for 30 minutes or an hour, and then I would turn it off and go to bed, which is ultimately what I did. But on that TV, it had Drew, I don't know, not Crackle, but one of those just random free quote unquote TV things.
Yeah.
And so I was just scrolling through the guide, and I was trying to find something to put on, and nothing looked good. And then I saw Hacksaw Ridge. And I'm like, okay,
Have you seen
fine.
that before?
Background, I haven't. Background noise, and I watched a good 45 minutes of it. And
Background noise?
And I turned the TV off, and then I went ahead and went to bed. So that was it. The reason why I was forced to watch that only because there was
and nothing else looked good?
Yeah, that's it.
What would your normal laying in bed television be?
Shark Tank, or a stand-up comedy special. Or,
okay. I watch a lot of repeat television I've already watched, right? Quite a bit of Parks and Rec or 30 Rock or any of those I've watched them a million times shows. I also watch House stuff. I'll put on the Property.
What were you watching? Because I ended up turning the TV off, and I think I still heard your TV on in the living room.
I just had some
area.
random stuff on the Pluto TV.
Did you leave it on and sleep through? Do you leave your TV on when you go to bed?
Sometimes I fall asleep with the TV on, then
You
I turn
must
it off.
Because it was midnight, and I turned the TV off, and I'm like,
I stayed up for about as long as you did, probably watching it, and then turn. But sometimes I'll doze for a little bit, and then as I get a little more doze, I'll turn it off.
Someone says, "Good Lord, Gold,
That's
sweet dreams of arms getting blown off."
It's hilarious.
There was nothing else on the TV, so that was it.
Somebody
I could have loaded up the iPad and turned that on, I guess.
Somebody says MASH is the #1 pro sleep TV show. I only think of that as being a sleep TV show because as a kid who didn't sleep very much, it was on at 2 a.m.
Yeah.
The second MASH, and I'm like, damn, I've been up too late. The second that theme song hit and the helicopter started flying, I'm like, I've been up too late. It's time to go to bed.
Yeah.
It is time to go to bed. Someone says they put on Mystery Science Theater 3000. Supernatural and Practical Jokers all getting mentions.
Yeah, people were texting and asking about our living arrangement. So we're at
Airbnb.
We're at an Airbnb, 15 minutes from downtown.
It was cost prohibitive to get a 2-bedroom place.
There's only one bed.
So there's only one
and
bed.
no, we are not sharing the bed. No, we are not.
You had to establish that.
We are not sharing the bed. Cody is in the living room. He's got a good-sized living room with a pull-out couch or.
Yeah. It's like a weak version of that, but it's a pull-out couch.
Yeah, there's only one bathroom, only one shower.
Which that was fine. I got up early and showered and.
It worked out. I would say we didn't have any issue with it.
Someone wants to know if you guys cooked breakfast together.
No, we actually went to a coffee shop, a place called
nice.
Yin's Coffee, very Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Yin's Coffee, and we went there. It was great.
They were out of the type of muffin Alex wanted, and it went fine after that.
Yeah. Regarding the random question, I do not have the TV on when I sleep.
So when you go to bed, by the time, but you also stay up super late, so you can make yourself sound better than us. But when you go to bed at 2, you've been up for a while watching that stuff.
I'm not staying up that late, but I have I'll play not white noise, I guess, but there's like a sound, like a noise machine essentially where I'll have some noise, but it's never like the TV. I feel I think I've tried to sleep with the TV, but either I get distracted and I'm watching, or it's just harder to actually decompress and try to actually fall asleep.
I mean, technically, you're right. You should not have the TV on, but I'm good about that. I'll know when I'm about to fall asleep. I'll turn the TV off. And then the lights are out, and we're good. I don't leave the TV on all night. I don't do that.
That's rare, but it sometimes is still on when I fall asleep and then I get up and turn it off.
Yeah.
It also just kind of depends. As we've talked about this on the show before. One, I had a TV in my room growing up, so I got used to it. Problem, right?
Yeah.
I had a TV in my room when I was a teenager. I got used to that, and so some of it is certainly just that issue. The other part is the thing we've joked about in the show. I don't be alone with my thoughts. If I sit, it is harder for me
what
to
are you talking about?
It is harder for me to fall asleep sitting in my bed with nothing. I've tried to break the habit than it is with the TV. If I sit there, I stew on everything that I've ever even thought about in there.
That's not
It's
good.
a nightmare.
Yeah, that's not good.
So I need the sound. And the white noise doesn't work. It's not enough of a distraction.
Huh.
So I need something. So I
Someone
do
mentions
the TV.
a fan. I think at least a fan
I have a fan on too.
is what I've done before. To at least have some noise, yeah.
Someone says Someone says, "How was the sleeping arrangement determined?"
Did you guys flip a coin?
Alex booked it today, so I said I'd sleep on the couch.
We made
I think it seemed like a good compromise.
We made a compromise the day we booked it, without getting into too much detail about the budget and everything we were given. Basically, it was like, hey, well, whoever ends up booking it and quote unquote reserving it with their name and everything.
And then we very quickly decided to book it, so it all just happened fast. I was like,
can have the bed, and so that happened to be me on this trip. Cody's had it on other trips.
Yeah,
and that was it. Yeah, that was the determination.
We've shared the booking responsibility over a number of years, and I don't know what it's 2 days. He'll sleep on a couch.
Everybody's very interested in how I got the bed. It wasn't like we had some all out contest to determine who gets it.
It was rock paper scissors.
It was not that exciting, honestly. We knew this about a month or two ago. We kind of knew, and it is what it is, you know.
Someone says put on Gladiator, and I'm out. Maybe the beginning.
Someone's calling Drew a psycho. Got to have the TV on. Someone says Drew brought his Bengals stuffed animal to sleep with. He's not here.
I'm not there.
He's not even in Pittsburgh with us. Come on now. Man, that is the random question of the day, by the way, here on Cody and Gold as we continue to broadcast live from Pittsburgh. We got a guy in a full Steelers uniform. He's got the pants on.
Oh, wow.
Wow, people aren't messing around here in Pittsburgh.
He's got like the head covering like for when it's cold outside. Yeah. You know, like the gator. He's got that on, Drew.
Yeah,
that's way too hot for him.
Yeah, I had to take the quarter zip off.
Are there more like Jets, Raiders, Browns fans there just because of the teams being used to picking up in that?
There's a lot of Eagles fans. Again, we're not far. You got to remember for
Cleveland.
Cleveland's 2 hours ish. Baltimore is what?
4 hours.
4 hours. DC's 4.5 hours.
Philly's not too particularly far.
You know, so
we've seen a lot of AFC North.
We got like Bills fan walking by right here, so we've seen a good combination of fans. He's rocking the Josh Allen jersey, of course.
All right.
I don't think he was rocking a Keon Coleman jersey or anything.
That's why you don't take one in the first. That's why you don't get the jersey for the first round pick.
Yeah. All right. Up next, guys, we'll get to the 1 o'clock hour here on Cody and Gold. Let's talk more about potentially the scenario at number 29 more than 9, and we've been doing all these mock drafts for months. The Sounders, everybody else's mock draft. We're going to try to hop on to one of these sites and do a live, quick Chiefs mock draft around 1:10 or so. We'll do that next year as we continue broadcasting live from Pittsburgh at PNC Park.
You're listening to Cody and Gold. Tune in to hear Royals insider Josh Bernier every Wednesday at 12:30. Cody and Gold is brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com. Your home for Royals baseball. 96.5, The Fan.
For nearly 100 years, Busey Wealth Management has helped families and businesses make smart financial decisions that stand the test of time. From personalized investment plans to tax strategies that work for you, we take a big picture approach, connecting you with the right experts to help protect what you've built and plan for what's next. Busey Wealth Management, here for every chapter of your financial story.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens. BetMGM, authorized gaming partner of the NBA, has a special offer for the playoffs. Sign into your existing BetMGM account and snag a NBA playoff odds boost token. Then take your shot at scoring more on your next win. Simply log in, add qualifying bet on the NBA playoffs to your bet slip, and activate the token. If you win your wager with the token attached, you'll pull down extra winnings and unrestricted bonus dollars. Talk about a fast break. Make BetMGM, authorized gaming partner of the NBA, your home for playoffs action with bonuses like odds boost tokens and more. Claim your odds boost token for the NBA playoffs and get in the game today. Make betting the playoffs more exciting. Make it legendary. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offers subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
Big color, bigger savings. Sherwin-Williams Super Sale is here. Get 40% off paints and stains April 24th through the 27th with prices starting at $30.89. Whether you're refreshing your interior or exterior, we've got the colors to bring your vision to life. And with delivery, getting everything to your door is easier than ever. Shop online to have it delivered or visit your neighborhood Sherwin-Williams store. Retail sales only. Some exclusions apply. See store for details. Delivery available on qualifying orders.
I move mountains for a living. Literally. That means I don't carry hand lotion, and when it comes to serious heartburn, I don't mess around with anything but Rolaids. Rolaids' dual-active formula has calcium carbonate and magnesium hydroxide that relieves heartburn fast. Yeah, you heard right. 2 actives for that powerful relief. And the best part? The roll fits right here in my pocket, so I can get back to moving mountains.
Rolade spells powerful relief. Read each label. Use as directed. Keep out of reach of children.
What if you could have the most reliable Wi-Fi? And get this, what if you could keep it at the same price for 5 years? That's the Xfinity 5-year price guarantee.
Just 5 years of fiber-powered Wi-Fi that boosts speeds to the devices that need them most.
That finds and fixes problems before you even notice them. Like super intelligent Wi-Fi with a 6th sense. And that keeps you gaming in the fast lane, even when the whole family's banking on bandwidth. And here's the best part. No annual contracts, no hidden fees, and our best equipment included.
Plus, get online in minutes with same-day Wi-Fi.
Hey, let's face it, a lot can change in 5 years. Kids grow taller, dreams grow bigger, but your Wi-Fi? It would stay reliable and the price would stay put. The Xfinity 5-year price guarantee. Lock in your price and unlock the possibilities. Xfinity, imagine that.
Select plans only. Restrictions apply. Powered by fiber. Connected to the premises by coaxial cable. Actual speeds vary.
I'm Bob Burke, founder and chairman of Burke America Parts Group, a family of brands that includes RepairClinic.com, an appliance and HVAC parts solution company that's grown into an international brand. Before AmericanEagle.com, we partially launched a new technology platform developed by another firm. American Eagle helped take our technology to a whole new level with digital marketing, software development, and business insights into our key markets, appliances, HVAC, and outdoor power equipment, and did so both on time and on budget. AmericanEagle.com has the resources, experience, and talent needed to produce solutions. Our new technology platform, developed by AmericanEagle.com, has produced tremendous results with higher traffic, conversion, engagement, and online revenue. If you have any home repairs you need to take care of, check us out at RepairClinic.com. If you need a world-class website or technology project, then I would highly recommend AmericanEagle.com.
Call AmericanEagle.com at 773-NETWORK. That's AmericanEagle.com, 773-NETWORK.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Straight Talk Wireless presents Pickup Truck Wisdom.
Turns out, talk isn't cheap. Just talking about affordability doesn't make things affordable. Straight Talk's had the same price since 2009. Plus, their Gold plan includes a Walmart Plus membership and $20 in Walmart cash when you activate. That's more than just talk.
Find us at straighttalk.com and Walmart. Straightforward, always. Valid through May 17, 2026. $20 in Walmart cash for Straight Talk Gold or Platinum plan customers newly enrolling in Walmart Plus. Limit 1 per enrollment and account. Same price claim applies only to base monthly price of the $45 Straight Talk plan, beginning October 2009.
There's a new kind of energy at Starbucks. When your day needs a reset, try the all-new energy refreshers. Strawberry acai, mango dragon fruit, or the all-new mango strawberry. The refreshers you love, now with extra caffeine. New energy refreshers only at Starbucks.
Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan is brought to you by Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City. From here for wherever you are. That's the benefit of blue. Join us at the Fans Draft Party at the Brooksider Sports Bar and Grill on April 23rd for your chance to win $965 in our draft contest. 96.5 The Fan. KFNC FM and AM, HD1 and HD2, Kansas City, an Odyssey sports station.
All right, 1 o'clock hour back in KC. Cody and Gold, Alex Gold, Cody Tapp with you. Drew Nixon producing the show. We are in Pittsburgh today at PNC Park and set for round 1 of the NFL draft. I guess now I can say we're about, 5.5 hours or so away from the start of from the draft here in round 1, where Kansas City's got pick 9 and 29. I want to talk more about pick 29 in a second. Also, we've been doing plenty of these mock draft sounders for months at this point in time. I want to do our own. We're going to finally do it. All three of us are going to go through. Drew's going to set it up back in the studio. We'll do at least round 1, maybe into round 2, but I think just round 1 mock draft. We'll see what players are available, and we'll see how our own mock draft plays out. I think if you've been listening to the show today or the last couple weeks, you got a good feel of where each one of us stand on certain players that we are very much interested in for Kansas City. Welcome your texts, as always, on the J Southland Tow Service text line, 913-586-7965. We were talking to somebody during the break, Cody, here at PNC Park, and basically this Riverwalk area where everybody is just kind of making their way through. They're all just cutting through to get over to the line. There is a line about a mile long
to get into
the draft area. Fans are getting set. They want to get their best spot tonight. So it's at least a mile long. Also doesn't hurt that the weather is perfect here, so people are willing to check out this afternoon. We've now started to see, I would say, just about every fan base we've seen represented easily at this point.
Yeah, I think so. I can't think of one I haven't seen at this point. So
plenty more Jags fans than I would have thought.
Yeah,
another
I think
Jags
so.
fan in front of us,
and more Titans, I think, than I would have expected. But again, not a much closer drive than if you were trying to come from Kansas City, so that might also be part of it. But it's like, you got to remember, Pittsburgh is a city very similar to Kansas City. About 2 million in the metro from like a radio market size, about 2 million people in like the whole city. But only like 300,000 or 350,000 in the downtown area at any one time. So this is like doubling their downtown population. Similar to like Kansas City, it's maybe 550 or 500 in Jackson, or at least in that area. And so it's, there's a bit of a difference, at least, when you're just shoving this many people into a tight downtown corridor.
We talked to some guys over at our sister station here in Pittsburgh, and they were saying this is the biggest event the city's ever hosted. Kind of like how in Kansas City when we hosted the draft and everything. It's the biggest event that we'll have the World Cup now, so now we've one up it. But to this point, it's the biggest event that Pittsburgh has had. I think they said the last time they had the draft was like 1940-something. Like
crazy.
So this is a huge deal for this city. They've been all in, kind of like Kansas City was as well. And everybody's been great. It's been a fun time. We're broadcasting from PNC Park today and tomorrow. Tonight, be sure to check our social media channels. We'll be posting some content, hopefully interviewing the Chiefs' top pick, if in fact that player, one of 16 players that are here on site. So we're hoping it's one of the guys that are here in Pittsburgh. That'd be a lot of fun. Don't forget the draft party. If you're looking for a place to watch the draft tonight back in Kansas City, the Brooksider, big Chris Unocero, going to be broadcasting live throughout the night. You and I will call back in. I know Fesco, Dusty, C-Dot, et cetera, are all going to be at the Brooksider. Drew will be out there as well, hanging out. Drew's not going to be sweating tonight at all. He doesn't have a first-round pick.
No,
they of course, traded for Dexter Lawrence, so that makes it a little less stress-free more stress-free, I should say, for Drew. But let's get into pick 29 for a second, and then we can get to the mock draft, because at 9, it can dictate a lot, of course, duh. But at 29, that's where the trade possibility feels more real. Whether it's up or down, you mentioned the history at 29. We know they've traded up for Trent McDuffie in the past, and Xavier Worthy, even if it was just a couple of spots. Doesn't mean they're going from 29 to
McColl
18.
in the second. That just is a range that they've traded up a lot in.
But I wonder if that's the spot, especially if they don't draft an offensive lineman at 9, and I hope they don't. Could that be the spot where suddenly there's a Caden Proctor or somebody there at 22 and they're like, oh, man, we got to go get him? And I think that's a real possibility. It doesn't mean I love it, but I think there's a real possibility that's the move at 29.
Yeah, I think that's the smoke, I believe. I do think that there's a real possibility of it, but I feel like it would only be for wide receiver or tackle. I don't see it necessarily for corner, because there's some guys down there who should be available at 29 that I don't think you need to go up to 22, 23, 24 for and give up pick 74. But they're probably also tempted in the idea that they have an extra third-round pick next year. They have 9 picks in this year's draft, and we talk about this all the time. Like, of the 9 picks they have in this year's draft, how many players do you think they're actually selecting? And neither of us is going to answer 9. I know that. Without even knowing your answer. It's 7 or 8. That's the number. They're going to lose a couple of picks moving up at some point in this draft.
Yeah.
29 feels like a logical place because it feels like in that 40s range, they still have that pick, and 74. Like, they're in those ranges anyway. They don't necessarily have to be afraid of giving up that swap in order to get up there. It's one I can accept. I wouldn't trade up, or I'd trade up a lot less than they do as a franchise anyway. But that's just like a philosophical difference in how I draft. I also am a realist. You and I talk about this when it comes to, like, stadium stuff or player. We were talking about like managerial firings or this other stuff. I also have to understand that Brett Veach doesn't think that way. Brett Veach trades up all the time. He's one of the most aggressive GMs in the National Football League as it relates to the draft. So for a guy who's got 2 first-round picks, I kind of feel like he wants to pick 2 guys in the top 25. And he's going to take that swing. I think it's like that 17, 18, 19, 20 range.
Yeah, their position, you got 3 picks in the top 40. You can navigate this it's so hard to predict 100%, they are for sure trading up or trading down because they don't have that clear answer yet. There's certain scenarios that come into play that you don't expect tonight. All of a sudden, a couple years ago, Trent McDuffie was there in the 20s. They never thought he would be there, so they're like, let's be aggressive. Let's go and get him. Same thing tonight. Now, we don't know who that player is. We think there's some names that they would be intrigued by that all of a sudden fall in the draft. There is going to be a player or two that nobody thinks was going to be there at 20 that's there. There's going to be, therefore, a player that goes at, let's say 11 that nobody thought would be there still at 11, or goes at 11, I should say. That's what's fun about tonight in this intrigue. This is the most we have talked about the draft in Kansas City in a very long time because they have 2 picks in the top 32 of the draft.
And here's the quick math on it. If you want the trade value chart, the Chiefs to get from pick 29 to pick 20. That's Dallas's pick. A lot of people think they might move a lot this week.
Right.
So 9 spots up takes 210 points according to this chart. The Chiefs pick 74 is worth 220.
Okay.
I mean, so that's about what it would take.
Did you guys see Peter Schrager's mock? I know we're going to get to ours in a second, but he had the Chiefs trading direct, just swapping picks with the Dallas Cowboys, where Cowboys move up to 9 and go back to 29, and the Chiefs go back from 9 to 12 and then up from 29 to 20.
That'd be interesting, wouldn't it? The two
Just a
teams
simple
have their
swap.
selections, and they're just flipping places.
Yeah.
It's pretty rare that you see that, I feel like.
I've never
where
seen that,
a simple trade like that. But the Cowboys have been a team that consistently linked to moving up in the draft. But the only way I see them moving up is if they think somebody like Reuben Bain is there. And here we are, we're thinking in Kansas City that Reuben Bain is someone they're interested in. And that's where we just don't know. We're all talking about Bain. Maybe the Chiefs have no interest in him. I don't know. And suddenly the Cowboys want to trade up to 9, and that's their guy, and the Chiefs obliged. I don't know. I would like to think that the Cowboys trading up only means for Bain, and I wouldn't want the Chiefs to make that trade because I would want the Chiefs to make it, which is why New Orleans is intriguing at 8. Do the Saints trade back, and they're the team that ends up leapfrogging Kansas City and kind of screws up the whole thing and
they don't have to worry about 29 and 20 and these other first-rounders and changing their order and all that other stuff.
All right, let's get into a mock draft. We've been going through scenarios for everybody else.
We deserve the sounder. I'm about to play it, too, for us, because we deserve the sounder.
I
think so.
For the one mock draft this show does a year.
We've done about 100 mock drafts of other people. Let's do our
It is certainly a new record.
You definitely. We've been doing them since it feels like December.
Drew gave us one in December, which was nuts.
So I am going to do a 2-round one just in case you guys want to go, but let's just plan for 9 and 29. This is on Pro Football Focus, the mock draft simulator. I'm going to start it. No trades in this one for us. So, okay.
Yeah, I agree.
David, this is unfortunate. David Bailey was picked 8th by the Saints. Just missed out on this.
Oh, come on.
So the way
Bailey went all the way to 8th. We were right there.
Who else is off the board?
So the way it fell, forget Mendoza. Arva at 2, Styles 3, Reuben Bain at 4, Francis Maui Noah at 5, Jeremiah Love at 6 to the Browns. Makes absolutely no sense, but okay. Caleb Downs at 7, David Bailey at 8. Maybe I should have done some other than Pro Football Focus. Anyways, Mansour Delane, Carnell Tate, Thieneman, and Spencer Fano are the 4 highest-rated players on the board currently. Still, Jermon McCoy is
Tyson
available.
and Lemon are available.
Lemon is available.
Is Downs available?
No, Downs is gone. Jordan Tyson is available.
Okay.
All the wide receivers are available.
If
Not
it
one
felt
has
like
been
this,
taken
I think
yet.
we got to take a wide receiver, don't we?
Or trade back, but we're not doing trades in the mock. I would be sitting here thinking they should try to trade back if the board,
I agree.
If the board fell in that particular way. In this mock draft where we're not doing trades, then I think Mansour Delane is who they would take. I would want Carnell Tate. I think they take Delane in this
But we get to choose, don't
I know,
we?
so I will
So we'll
choose
take
Carnell. I'll take Carnell Tate. Are you good with that?
If it's a wide receiver, it's not my top wide receiver, but if everyone else is on board with Tate, Tate's fine.
Okay. All right, we take
Like,
Carnell.
I would take Tyson or Lemon, but
Same.
I'm
but
okay.
The only reason why Tate, I thought Tate would already be drafted by the Browns at 6. So okay, all right.
So to give you some of the feedback afterwards, the Dolphins take Mekhi Lemon at 11. Tyson goes to 16 to the Jets in this mock draft.
All right.
Wow.
Down at 29, here's some of the guys that are available. Akeem Mesidor, Caden McDonald, defensive tackle. Max Iniachor, I believe that's how you pronounce it, from Arizona State, the tackle you were talking about, Cody, earlier. Denzel Boston's available. Colton Hood available as well. Some of those guys are the ones who are available. Caden Proctor at 27 got taken, so he's not available.
So this is tricky because I told you my number one priority is defensive line. But with the way the board is going, I think the Chiefs at this point would be backing themselves in a corner where they would have to go sign one of the veterans, like a Calais Campbell. Who's the top defensive lineman on the board in this hypothetical?
Technically, it's Akeem Mesidor and then Caden McDonald.
I don't like any of those.
McDonald's interior, very good, very highly rated defensive tackle. Peter Woods is also available. Colton Hood, though, is a guy we've seen mentioned at corner. Maybe he's a spot that we go at to get that corner position.
I was going to say,
we're not taking. I hate our mock already. We got no defensive lineman.
I know, but I'm not going to reach for one. In this exact scenario, I think I would take Colton Hood.
Zion Young is available, but you might be able to get him at
Zion
40.
Young.
Oh, Zion Young's available?
Is he going to slide to 40 is the question,
Zion
right?
Young is available. Lee Hunter's available. Christian Miller.
I think we take Young. Come on. That's a George Karlaftis type. He's like a George Karlaftis prototype.
At 29.
They can't wait till.
He is the 40th ranked player in Pro Football Focus.
All right, let's go Zion. Now I want to play it out past another round if we can.
Yeah, okay. Okay.
Zion Young.
Zion Young taken.
Fine. Okay. I want to see who's available at 40 then now for us.
At 40.
We still have a corner.
Yes, Brandon Cisse from South Carolina is available. D'Angelo Pons from IU is available. Chris Bell.
We got lots of choices.
Wide receiver Jacob Rodriguez, linebacker. Chris Johnson, cornerback, is still available in this one
Chris
as well.
Johnson.
Let's go Chris Johnson, the corner out of San Diego State.
All
So
right.
now we're building a little
works.
something.
That works. Yeah.
All right, so Chris Johnson gets taken. Let's see how Pro Football Focus rates how it grades.
How do they grade us?
The mock draft. It gives us an A for Carnell Tate. It gives us a B solid for Zion Young and a B solid for Chris Johnson.
Okay. I'm proud of our work.
Someone says Mesidor is better. Oh, I told you. I think that if the exact scenario presented itself at 9.
He was the pick right after we took Zion Young.
And if Mesidor is on the board at 9 and Bailey, Bain, and Reese are not there, and Tyson's not there, then I think Mesidor. I told you.
At 9?
I think Mesidor would be the pick at 9 for Kansas City. If he's
interesting. Well, then we should have taken him at 29.
I was going to say, Akeem Mesidor should
Wait,
have
hold
been
on.
pick at 29.
He was available at 29. I thought you didn't want him.
No, I thought he said I misheard.
No,
I thought he said
was
Mesidor
available.
wasn't there. Oh, that should have been the pick.
I'm going to be honest. Mesidor at 9 would be a
You
severe
were stressing
overreach
out
to
about
me.
reaching. You were stressing out by not taking a defensive lineman at 29. I said corner would have been fine.
I didn't realize Mesidor was. Well, I knew Mesidor was available. I thought you didn't like him.
Mesidor, you would take him at 9 knowing he's. Hold on. I just want to. So if Bailey's gone and Bain's gone, you would take Mesidor, who's 25 and had shoulder issues all of last year. He's 25. You would take him at 9?
Hold on. Two different conversations here again. What I think the Chiefs down. I think the Chiefs are going to take Mesidor. That's not my pick.
Mesidor at 9 would be really bad. A really bad.
Number one
pick,
corner in the
opinion.
draft. Number one corner in the draft.
No, you mean
that's
Mansour
Mansour
Delane.
Delane.
We're
Mesidor's the
getting the names.
offensive lineman.
Okay, sorry. Well,
Yeah.
That's
why I got
That's
confused.
where we're getting confused. My
That's what I
apologies.
was- okay.
That's you guys. Okay, that screwed everything up. No, Mansour Delane at 9 for Kansas City.
Phew.
So
All right,
you,
sorry.
Mansour was not available.
Would you have taken Mansour Delane at 9 over Carnell Tate?
Yes.
Because Mansour Delane was available at 9.
I got that confused. I didn't want Mansour.
Yeah, we just
Okay.
butchered this whole thing.
All right.
Well done.
Wow, is this why
Well
we
done.
don't do mock drafts? Are we bad at this?
I mentioned the guys available, and you said
Who the hell
all
did
the
we
wide
get stuck
receivers
with?
are available, so let's take a wide receiver. That's what you guys said.
Who the hell did we get stuck with here? How bad did we do?
You got
man.
Tate Young.
You got
and
Carnell Tate, Zion Young, and Chris Johnson. I
Yeah,
mean,
we could've done worse.
it's a good it's a good mock draft. It's just that, it's or Delane. I guess last name, first name sound similar. Anyways, maybe this is why we don't do the mock drafts that
This
often.
is why we don't do them live on the air.
Do you think
This is
there's
why.
like this is the kind of draft stuff I like? You know
Well
what?
done, guys.
You know what random thing I just saw somebody suggest is going to happen tonight? Because anything can happen in draft tonight. We know who's going to make a trade. Maybe like the Falcons took Penix. Nobody saw that coming. Somebody suggested they think what's going to happen tonight is Mike Vrabel is scheduled to talk after the first round of the NFL draft. And they said one of two things is going to happen because Robert Kraft's insistence to bury stories. He, as a matter of fact, tried to bury this one reportedly by trying to keep them from reporting on it in the newsroom. They said one of two things going to happen. Either they're going to trade out of the first round so Mike Vrabel doesn't have to talk because it's Robert Wolf
From
or
31,
whoever.
yeah.
Yeah, they're going to trade out from 31.
With the Cardinals
Drew,
or something, so they can
and they're going to
Ty
get themselves
Simpson.
out of the first round so Mike Vrabel doesn't have to talk. Or to make the story literally anything else, Robert Kraft is going to demand that they trade up really high so that is the story instead of Mike Vrabel's infidelity.
It's already a mess anyway. I don't think they're going to alter their draft plan. It's already such a mess. They're way past that. This is not ending anytime soon. They're way past that.
I don't know if it's not as I think it actually would be worse than because the whole Chiefs taking FAU thing because it's local and they reached them trying to trade up drastically just to get rid of a story, I think is just horrible behavior.
Yeah, no,
Robert Kraft likes to bury stories.
It's an awful decision.
Like, this goes back to my original point on, like, the getting in trouble part, which is there's still a very good argument, and I don't know why they're just ignoring it, that there was impropriety on both sides that affected the integrity of the league. It isn't like cheating or scandal, but like she could have been feeding him information about free agents, thus affecting other teams' opinion on things that were taking place. It's very possible. They were seen at a bar making out 6 years ago.
Yeah, it's
impropriety could have happened on both sides of this. That could have definitely been way below board.
Someone says, "Thank goodness you guys are not the GMs. We would have missed drafts because we thought players were not on the board. Now we're on the board." Also, someone, "Are you guys already drinking? How many drinks have you had?"
I drank last night.
Completely, yeah. That's our bad there. That's
sober tonight.
That's our bad. I got very confused as well, so it's all good. Yes, people continue to text in. Have you seen the news about Dave Merritt? We have. There's just not really much more to say. But yes, the Kansas City Star is reporting Dave Merritt was arrested last night for a misdemeanor domestic battery charge. He's scheduled to appear in court coming up this afternoon. Obviously, very serious matter for Kansas City. I don't know what the outcome's going to be. It's not the same as a player in terms of I don't think this changes anything with the draft tonight. I understand he has been a very, very good defensive back coach for them.
Yeah.
I don't know how it's going to play out, but there's really not much more to say. This does not alter their draft plans tonight or tomorrow.
While we'll talk more draft obviously coming up as we're live in Pittsburgh, as you pointed out. Yep. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army's Civic Lunch. Can I give you a couple over-unders for you two? And you tell me whether or not you think these guys go higher or lower?
All right.
Let's do it.
How about that? Maybe a little NFL music, Drew. Give me a little like a vibe here.
Bear with me just a second.
And I can. Yeah,
Cody wants a vibe.
Well, we're in Pittsburgh. Feels right to get some NFL music.
There we go.
Yeah. See, I like that. I'll give you a couple guys. I'll start with Akeem Mesidor, notably different than Mansour Delane, but even though our mock draft.
Who is it? I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Mesidor half.
Under.
That's right on his number. I think over. I think he's going to go 10 to the Giants.
Okay. All right.
I don't know why.
I will also go over on Down.
Interesting.
Because of the safety aspect.
Over.
Under.
I think he's going to go, God, it just depends on which tackle you think that they like more. Do they like Fano more or do they like Maui Noah? Because I don't think that there's a decided difference between the talent level there, Drew. So, I'm a little bit torn. Dylan Thieneman, he has been largely hyped up in the safety game. Okay. 18.5 is his over.
Over.
Under?
Drew and I are on the opposite.
I like the under on this one.
I think he's going way back there. Okay.
He's not one I would want to bet.
I think people always end up taking the chance on the injured player when they're that talented.
They moved him
when
back
they're
that far.
convinced.
That's crazy.
They're good at this.
Yeah, they're all right on it. It's basically whether or not you think he's going to go 14 or 16.
Sonny Styles, 5.5.
Do the Giants take him at 5?
Over?
I don't think the Giants take him at 5, and if he doesn't go at 5, then it's going to be over. Yeah, I think then he slides a bit more. I'll go over as well, Drew.
I think all three of us on the over on that one. How about Ty Simpson? They got his over-under set at 29.5.
So I think he ends up sliding, but if I'm the Steelers or the Rams should trade back into the first round and go get Ty Simpson and groom him behind Matthew Stafford. I don't know if any team's going to do that. Around here, I don't think Steelers fans believe that they're going to actually go get Ty Simpson. He had a top 30 visit here in Pittsburgh. I think he should be a pick for Steelers in the 20s. I don't think they're going to do it.
All right, how about two other linemen, and then we'll wrap it up. Caden Proctor and Monroe Freeling. They got very similar over-under numbers right now. 16.5 pick for Caden Proctor. 17.5 for Monroe Freeling, who as of 2 weeks ago, Drew, either his agent was doing really good work or everyone changed their mind. He was a top 10 pick 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
In most people's mock
I'll go over on Proctor. Again, he's a guy I could see the Chiefs trading up to early. If he's there at 23, I could see the Chiefs going up 6 spots. I'll go over the 16.5.
I'll go under on Freeling, and I'll go over on Proctor.
I agree.
Fair.
Yep, I agree.
Oh, it's interesting.
First Atlanta Falcons fan walking by. First Atlanta
at least
Falcons
one that I remember seeing.
Wearing the Julio Jones throwback. I like it.
That would be the jersey to have.
I have seen 2 Cam Scatteroo jerseys.
I've seen a Baker Mayfield Browns jersey, which is depressing for everybody.
Why? He's a good quarterback. He's a good quarterback.
Yeah, but not in a Browns uniform.
That's their ownership's fault.
Well,
I will say, Drew, earlier we were mentioning the things that everybody seemingly agrees on out of the Uber drivers because they're all very strong, opinionated.
I almost got kicked out.
That's what it sounded like earlier, yeah.
I will say, one thing that you don't realize until you're in another town? Everyone hates Art Rooney.
Really?
They do not like him.
They can't stand the.
They think he is a bad owner causing problems for the organization. Multiple.
That was two Uber drivers. Yeah.
Well, fine, but like they were both pretty serious about it. They were like ready for him to retire and give it over to
So
the
the one Uber driver you had doesn't. So they don't like Art Rooney, but they like Mike McCarthy. That's
Correct.
the hire.
Wow, one Uber driver did not like McCarthy, and I thought that opened the door for me to tell the Uber driver that we had later in the night to say, yeah, I think you guys made a wrong hire and you're going to finish with 10 wins.
Did
And
not
that
agree.
Uber driver immediately said, do you want a 1-star? Do you want me to kick you out of my car? I said, okay.
Little do you know, she's related to Mike McCarthy or something like that.
Must
Good
be.
Goodness, that's sort of a reaction.
Must be the case. I don't know, man.
It was intense.
By the way, we continue broadcasting from Radio Row here at the draft at PNC Park. Draft coverage on 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, the Leavenworth PD, and the Salvation Army's Civic Lunch. Up next, guys, we'll get to a little what's trending. Also talk more about how we see this thing playing out. I know we did a mock draft, but let's take a look at pick 9 and 29 again and some of the other storylines we're expecting. When could Jeremiah Love go this evening? I think that is still one of the more fascinating questions entering tonight in Pittsburgh. We'll do that next.
This is Cody and Gold on your home for Kansas City sports. 96.5 The Fan. Brought to you by Heartland Men's Health, the leader in men's sexual health. Thousands of men have been successfully treated for low T, ED, and more, all with discretion and compassion. Make your appointment at heartlandmenshealth.com.
Hi, I'm Emily, your friend and jeweler at Shane Company, where fine jewelry is always crafted with care no matter the price. Mother's Day, birthdays and graduations, weddings and anniversaries, the new job you got, and even the one you didn't. Give a birthstone necklace, a heart-shaped locket made in Italy, or high-quality diamond studs you can trade up every year. At Shane Company, we have something for everyone, because a friend wants you to win the gifting game. Visit us in store or at shaneco.com. Shane Company, your friend and jeweler.
Steve here with Connolly Plumbing Solutions, your neighborhood plumber. We're in the Midwest, where tornadoes are real and our water table is high. So we practically tap a well every time we dig a basement. As a plumber, I could tell you that water always wins. This month, we have a sump pump special. $200 off a main pump or $400 off a battery backup system. Protect your basement. If you haven't used us yet, we would love to win you over. Visit ConnollyPlumbingSolutions.com to schedule.
Hey, it's Dusty Likens, and are you ready for the Stanley Cup playoffs? Well, hockey fans, BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, is giving players another reason to lace up and hit the ice for the most exciting games of the season. Feel the rush of the goals, the checks, the faceoffs, and the breakaways with a Stanley Cup playoff odds boost token. All you have to do is take your shot at extra winnings, log in to your existing BetMGM account, where you'll receive your odds boost token. Then make any qualifying Stanley Cup playoff bet and activate your token. If your bet lights the lamp, you'll receive extra winnings. Log into BetMGM, an official sports betting partner of the NHL, to get your odds boost token. BetMGM and GameSense remind you to play responsibly. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. See BetMGM.com for terms. 21 and older only. Missouri only. Existing customer offer. Subject to eligibility requirements. Rewards vary and expire in 7 days. Please gamble responsibly.
The Royals and the See You in the Major Leagues Foundation are teaming up with Blue Cross and Blue Shield of Kansas City to recognize outstanding high school sports coaches through the Blue KC Coaches with Character program. From April to September, we'll recognize 6 coaches as a Blue KC Coach with Character. Each honoree will receive a VIP package that includes tickets to a Royals game and more. Be part of honoring our high school coaches whose service is making Kansas City a better place to live, work, and play. Just go to bluekc.com/nominate coaches with character to nominate today. Having unexpected car trouble or just in a car accident? You need Jay's Southland Tow Service. They have 20 years of experience and service the KC metro area. They specialize in light, medium, and heavy duty, also in commercial transport and construction equipment. Keep this number handy, 816-779-4TOW, or go to southlandtow.com. Use the tow service trusted by most local police departments, Jay's Southland Tow. There's nothing they can't do, so be in the know and use Jay's Southland Tow.
Hi, I'm Carter. And I'm Charlie. We'd like to share a quick story about a homeowner named Jack. Jack had a home he needed to sell fast. And Jack thought he had it all figured out. So Jack talked to multiple cash buyers. Jack chose the highest offer. But the day before closing, guess what? The buyer backed out. leaving Jack with the moving truck all packed in the driveway and not sure what to do.
Jack learned the hard way that the highest offer isn't always the right offer.
Jack got suckered.
Make sure you aren't hung out to dry.
Call our dad at Rex Buys KC.
Our dad is local, he knows Kansas City, and he actually closes deals.
No repairs, no fees, no showings, no surprises.
Just a fair cash offer and a smooth process.
Now, don't be like Jack.
Call 816-330-6000 or visit rexbuyskc.com.
Rex Buys KC, helping people make smart choices one home at a time.
Get ready to kick off a summer of soccer in Kansas City while fighting hunger. Join the Salvation Army for the Kick Hunger Civic Lunch 2026, May 7th. Score big for local families in need. Grab your tickets or table today at kickhungerkc.com. That's kickhungerkc.com.
My friends at Smokehouse Barbecue have 2 new items that you need to try. First, meet the Pickle Jack Sandwich. We're taking tender smoked ham and melted pepper jack cheese, piled high with our signature pickle fries. It's crunchy, spicy, and smoky as well. And if you need to warm up, how about some Smokehouse chili? It's not your average recipe. It's loaded with our famous chopped burnt ends and savory sausage. And don't forget carryout, which you can order at smokehousebbq.com. Visit Smokehouse Barbecue at Independence, Zona Rosa, and Gladstone. It's Smokehouse Barbecue.
JR and Company offers a lifetime workmanship warranty on every residential roof. Why? Because our roofers are that good. Kinda makes you wonder about the other guys. JR and Company, home of the free online storm check at jrstormcheck.com.
Growing a brand is hard, but reaching the right customers shouldn't be. Meet Outcomes from Viant. We've built an intelligent platform that handles the complexity of digital advertising for you. Powered by advanced AI, we help your brand show up in the right places at the right time and ensure that every dollar you spend leads to a real business result. It's smarter advertising made simple. Visit Viant.ai.
Did you know about 1 in 3 people with plaque psoriasis may also develop psoriatic arthritis, which causes joint pain, stiffness, and swelling? Does this sound like you? Listen to what it sounds like to be a million miles away. Tremfya guselkumab, taken by injection, is a prescription medicine for adults with moderate to severe plaque psoriasis who may benefit from taking injections or pills or phototherapy, and for adults with active psoriatic arthritis. Serious allergic reactions and increased risk of infections and liver problems may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check you for infections and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection, flu-like symptoms, or if you need a vaccine. Imagine being a million miles away. Explore what's possible. Ask your doctor about Tremfya. Visit Tremfya.com or call 1-800-526-7736.
Rob Sight Ford, KC's Ford volume leader and top rated on Google. 135th and State Line. Rob Sight Ford, your 2025 Ford volume leader. Top rated on Google with 4.8 stars and 3,000 plus reviews. The best selection, best prices, and Kansas City's best customer service. Visit Rob Sight Ford at 135th and State Line. Buy right, save big, and drive home a winner. Only at Rob Sight Ford.
You're listening to 96.5 The Fan from the DM Injury Law Studios. Mike's got this.
Car, truck, or motorcycle wreck? Remember, Mike's got this.
816-888-7500. Mike's got this.
Hey, it's Rob Brennan. We hope you're enjoying Beyond the Pitch KC, a podcast on how Kansas City landed the world's biggest sporting event. It's presented by Commerce Bank. Visit commercebank.com/soccer26. New episodes released every Wednesday on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
What's trending?
Cheddar, mozzarella, Havarti. What's Trending is brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor, all things parking lot.
Number 1 on What's Trending, we are live in Pittsburgh at PNC Park. Things starting to pick up here. Plenty of fans already lined up over a mile-long line to get in to the draft experience. The Chiefs, of course, will pick 9 and 29 tonight. We'll get back into how we see things playing out in just a second. But great crowd of people. We're in an awesome spot here at PNC Park. It's a gorgeous day in Pittsburgh, and the jersey that we spotted during the break. This is, we talk about people watching areas, when we're in Vegas or whatever. This spot right here is elite people watching, no question. We saw a split Will Howard, Ohio State Pittsburgh Steelers jersey.
Did he
during
sew
the
that
break.
together himself? It's certainly not for sale.
I don't know, man. I'm not sure, but that was a good jersey. There was a Reggie Bush Miami Dolphins jersey.
This one, LaDainian Tomlinson. I was trying to
Throwback
look to see if
Chargers
there was
jersey, yeah.
A particularly different one on the outside. It is good people watching, no doubt. But we are broadcasting live, so if you're going to be in Pittsburgh today or tomorrow, come by and see us at PNC Park. Next up on What's Trending, speaking of the Chiefs, they have elected a new member of their Hall of Fame. Derek Johnson will be admitted into the Ring of Honor this year. That according to CEO and Chairman Clark Hunt, announcing that the all-time Chiefs leading tackler will be the 55th individual inducted into the Chiefs Hall of Fame. It'll be at the season ticket member draft fest, or be introduced tonight at Arrowhead Stadium. So if you're there, you'll have a chance to talk to Derek or see Derek Johnson. Honored at least at that, and then obviously later in the year, he'll get to do the whole thing, and they'll show his number up there and the whole thing. He's your all-time leading tackler. Makes sense.
Elsewhere on What's Trending, some unfortunate news this afternoon. The Kansas City Star reporting that Chiefs defensive back coach Dave Merritt was arrested last night for a misdemeanor domestic battery charge, scheduled to appear in court this afternoon. The team telling the Star they're aware of the incident, and they did not comment, though, any more than other than that they are aware of that. Look, we don't know anything that transpired yet. Of course, it's terrible to even have this be a situation heading into today. I don't think it alters draft night by any means in impacting tonight or this entire weekend. But this is another big day in Chiefs history, and it's like, man, another headline involving legal matters. No matter how it turns out, and who knows, right? But it's just, man, it's every couple months.
Yep. Doesn't seem like they can get through a season clean. They finally got good news, at least on the suspension front for Rashee Rice, only to have bad news here with Dave Merritt. Next up on What's Trending, Mike Vrabel says he will seek counseling and will not be around for the 4th through 7th round, so the Saturday version of the NFL draft. He is still scheduled to speak tonight if the Patriots make their selection at 31 or earlier. It'll obviously be their GM Wolf who speaks for the later rounds of draft, similar to how the Chiefs do it. That part's not uncommon, but there was more controversy. More photos surfaced today from the New York Post of Mike Vrabel and Diana Rossini all the way back to 2020, in which the two were obviously engaged in what looks like kissing and some other stuff at a bar. He was asked for comment. It was a few hours after he was asked for comment that he said he was seeking counseling. I think what looked particularly bad is that photo was taken on the 11th or the 12th of that month in 2020, and then on the 15th, she did some reporting on the on the Tennessee Titans, saying that they were not pursuing Tom Brady. They were instead pursuing Ryan Tannehill and were close to a deal with him. So it continues to bring back the ethical parts of both of them, and what was being shared and what wasn't, and their relationship at that time. And really, from that time all the way until now, was it going on this entire time, Gold, or was it something that took place in different windows of time?
That is What's Trending here on Cody and Gold.
It's a pretty ugly look. Brought to you by Gann Asphalt and Concrete, trusted in Kansas City since 1994. One contractor, all things parking lots.
Bink was just at the station, guys. He just popped in. He is fired up.
He should be.
Imagine. He
should
ready.
be fired up. We've got the Character Concerns podcast having a live show tonight coming up out at the Brooksider. Bink and Chris will be broadcasting there. You and I, Cody, will call in at some point tonight as well. But yeah, now it's getting real. We've all. I mean, they've been talking about it for 8 months. We've been talking about it for 3 months. It's awesome that we finally have made it to draft night, and as I said, the energy is starting to pick up here in Pittsburgh. This is the busiest it's been since we've been on the air. We got on the air at 11 Eastern time here. We're on till 3 Eastern, so another 23 minutes or so, and there's definitely way more activity and people that are starting to make their way through. They're kind of cutting through PNC Park back here, although they've got the concession stands opened up and the beer flowing and everything out here. Everybody's just kind of hanging out, having a great day. Beautiful day in Pittsburgh, and this is, we know what this was like in Kansas City a couple years ago, and so it's a big deal. It's the biggest event Pittsburgh has ever hosted.
What is the over-under on number of dips Jay Binkley takes tonight?
Oh, boy.
Wow, what do we set the number at? Drew, you got an idea?
He's in public.
What do we set the number for?
Yeah, he's in public, though, so I don't think he's going to have a full bottle full of spit in front of everybody.
Yeah,
I think the over-under total of number of dips from the time he woke up to the time he goes to bed tonight is 40.5.
No.
I don't know anything about the
I'll go under on that,
the
Cody.
dip and chew.
The question with Bink tonight The question with Bink tonight is Drew, is he going to have another pick that results in him having an all-time moment on the air like he did last year when they had the Josh Simmons pick? I'll have the same reaction as Bink did if they take a tackle at 9. I'll take offensive tackle at 9, where he hates the pick.
I mean, oh, God.
I'll hate the pick if it's a tackle.
Josh Simmons, offensive tackle from Ohio State.
I hate this pick.
I mean, it's one of my favorite moments that have happened on the air with Bink. It's an all-time moment. None of us are going to forget it. And Binky and Chris obviously put a ton of work in this, and those guys are so locked in, and it's awesome. But Bink's reaction to that was so great. What the pick that would have me reacting that way would be plain and simple a tackle at 9. And if they traded up, it would be absolutely ridiculous. The Chiefs better not trade up to go get an offensive tackle. They can draft one at 29 tonight, and honestly, I'll be fine with it, and it can make some sense. But man, anything more than that, no. I don't like it.
Gold said he spoke for me, but I said that's fine. That I'll jump in the Allegheny if they trade up.
Yeah, we're right next to the Allegheny River.
If they trade up to pick 2 or 3 and take an offensive tackle, I'll jump right into the Allegheny.
Oh yes, I am. I'll be honest. I know.
Is that what you're rooting for now?
I'll be honest. For show content purposes. And maybe even because of the team that I root for, it doesn't matter now because they don't have a pick. But I would if they took an offensive lineman, I think that would be great, just for the content of you jumping in to the river.
He's doing it,
and all that. I think that would be very
not
good
at
content.
9, specifically a trade up. I wouldn't like it at 9. But
I thought it was if they take one at 9.
Wait, I gotta jump. I thought you said if they trade up.
Okay. That's fine. Look,
that's way too likely.
My bet.
In the Allegheny later tonight.
My bet a week or two ago was if the Chiefs, after signing Kenneth Walker, still draft Jeremiah Love, then we can shave my head on the air. It's not going to happen.
I hope that
it's not. They are not drafting Jeremiah Love after signing Ken Walker. That's why I made the bet.
It would be interesting to me if he got through the first 8 picks.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
I'll sweat a little bit.
It would be a little...
Cody will get a photo or video of me waiting for the 9th pick if all of a sudden it's Jeremiah Love. Next week, back in studio, I'll text my barber. We'll get the hair shaved if that actually happens. I am very confident that I'm not going to have to worry about that. It would be, honestly, you can make a case that's worse than even taking an offensive tackle. You're spending $14.5 million a year on Ken Walker, then you're going to go spend the 9th pick or trade up for Love. I don't see it. Doesn't make any sense.
I hope that there's no offensive lineman off the board, and Jeremiah Love is still there. That'll be a sweat for sure. I think
I think he's off the board at 4 or 5. I told you all along. I think the Giants should actually draft him. Scadaboo's coming off a serious injury. If they have Dart, Scadaboo, Love, Neighbors, plus the 10th pick, they can go draft Caleb Downs.
I mean, he also said he doesn't believe in CTE either, so I feel like that actually might be. I know he was joking and all that other stuff, but
that doesn't point to a long career, though.
Correct.
The way he runs doesn't point to he's going to be around for a minute. Feels like he's going to be around for
he might go to the
fun years.
There's too many teams that could draft him. The Titans, the Giants, the Commanders, the Cardinals. I mean, the Jerry Jones move of all moves, guys, would be, after all this, the Cowboys trade up to 6 or 7 to go and get Jeremiah Love. It'd be the most hilarious thing. It'd be just as bad. They already paid Javonte Williams. It would be a very Jerry Jones thing to get the headlines. Oh, man.
So what do we think is going to
can turn into good decisions?
That's right, Jerry. Mm-hmm. That's right.
So I guess what kind of things do we expect to happen, at least for, let's say, outside the Chiefs for a minute? Because we've given our picks at 9 and 29. You think, not saying you want, you think it will be Mansour Delane.
Yeah, and I want it to be Bain.
And you think it'll be, who did you say you think the 29 pick will be?
Well, I have him trading up for Proctor.
Oh, Proctor.
That's right. Offensive line.
And then I had him taking Bain. I think it will be Bain at 9. What your actual desire will be, and I think that they'll be taking a tackle at pick 29. When you go back through it, it's like, what are some of the other things that we think are going to happen tonight? Because something is going to happen tonight that we're not expecting. Is Ty Simpson a first rounder, I think, is the first question. Do the Dolphins trade up because they have 1 million picks? Like, the one that would still surprise me is the guy that we haven't heard any buzz on for the Chiefs is Kenyon Sadiq. If it's the Chiefs and all of a sudden they take Sadiq, it'd be like, that was one of those ones people liked kicking around
early
3 months ago.
Yeah.
But everybody hasn't said jack about it.
Right.
Ever since Travis announced that he was coming back, it feels like that died down.
And Tyson could fall. I think we've probably under-discussed the Tyson fall. We got Jamad McCoy all the way down to 29, 30, and we don't think that teams could just talk themselves out of Tyson and take Tate and Lineman, and then Tyson's available at 20.
If I told you, I mean, the dream scenario, right? Would you guys agree with this? Dream scenario. Not realistic, but dream scenario. Bain at 9, Tyson's on the board somehow at 20 or 21, and the Chiefs trade up and get Tyson.
That'd be great.
Oh,
That's
man.
a risk
I would think so, yes.
That would be insane. I don't think he's going past 16.
But who's your faller? Like,
What's
who
that?
do you think's falling in this year? It's always somebody. Who's
I mean,
the
Tyson,
sinker?
any of the injury guys are automatically candidates. I know there's been a lot of reporting that Tyson was amazing in this workout, and so now we're talking top 10 pick. But Tyson still is absolutely a candidate. I'm not saying it'll happen, but he's a candidate to fall to 15 or 20. McCoy, we've already talked about him. He's clearly a candidate to fall.
He's going to fall,
I think Reuben Bain, even though I want him if he's on the board for the Chiefs at 9, but if the Chiefs don't take him at 9, then I think a bunch of teams might say they're worried about the arm length stuff. So there's plenty of candidates that can ultimately fall back a little bit. And the Chiefs at 9 are going to have multiple options to pivot in this draft. That's why I still think they're in a very good spot at pick 9.
Somebody mentions on the text line the Cardinals really run the draft. Do you guys feel that way, or is it even more of the draft starts at 2 with
Giants? I think maybe,
or even the Giants, like because it feels like it's like a trio. I don't know if it's one team, but it feels like whatever the Jets do, the Cardinals will take whoever's left, or they move back, or the Titans could be like there's a lot that could happen between picks 2 and 5.
I mean, the Jets should be trying to trade back, right? Given where they're at. I mean, they got Geno Smith as their quarterback. I think they got a lame duck head coach and Aaron Glenn this year. They should be looking to acquire more
talent,
picks.
yeah.
But I don't know who's trading up. You know, the reports again from Pelissero earlier today is that the Chiefs are looking to move up. I don't think that makes a whole lot of sense.
In fairness, it probably should be the Jets. They got pick 2 overall, pick 16 overall, pick 33 overall. So, Drew, they're picking 3 times in the first 30.
And if they trade back, then they could get a couple more. Yeah,
that's why they're the linchpin. They don't have a third. A lot of teams don't. Like, for instance, the Giants don't have a third. They got 2 firsts, a second, and then a 4th, 5th, and then a bunch of 6th, right? But they've got enough of those high-end ones, you would think that at least that's a portion of it. But the Giants, because of the Dexter Lawrence pick, and the Jets, because they have 3 picks in the top 33, you got to think that they're at least movers.
Yeah,
right?
it was interesting.
I would think they're a big trade down.
I think
candidate.
Earlier this morning, I don't know if you guys saw this. I didn't roll it in, but Tom Pelissero was talking. I forget what show he was on, but he was asked. I think it was Dan Patrick. He said there's about 12 to 15 guys that have first round grades, but there's not much. It doesn't seem like there's that much of a gap between 15 and 80. Where if you even, like, I know we've talked about the Chiefs trading back, but if you're a team like the Jets or the Cardinals or Tennessee even, you're just like, you know what? We could take Jeremiah Love at 4, but we could also just load up on talent and picks to help surround Cam Ward and maybe get another defensive guy in there. That would maybe be something appealing because the gap's not as, or the gap is so tight between 15 and 80.
So
65
picks. There's several charts, but there's 2 main ones that most teams use. That's the Johnson value chart and the Fitzgerald-Spielberger chart. The Fitzgerald-Spielberger one's the one Alex and I reference a lot. It's the easiest one to find online and when we do it. The Johnson value chart has the Jets as the team with the most value out of any team. Raiders 2nd, Giants 3rd, Browns 4th, Cardinals 5th, Dolphins 6th, and the Chiefs 7th in total draft value. The Fitzgerald-Spielberger chart, which is a little bit different.
Steven?
Has the Jets 1st, Raiders 2nd, but then the the Dolphins 3rd, Browns 4th, Giants 5th, so a little bit different. And the Chiefs still in that same range, but ahead of the Cardinals in draft value. So they have them up at 6th overall.
Yeah. Okay. I'm just trying to think still, as we talk today and the last couple months about the draft and what's going to happen. Let's not forget, as we've all acknowledged, what happens in 27, of course 26 as well, but 27 and 28, this is the most important draft of the future for Andy Reid and for Brett Veach. I mean, it just simply is. It is that important for Kansas City. You think about last year, 6-win season. You look at this roster. It's not a top 3 or 4 roster in the AFC anymore.
No.
This year's draft, if they are going to get back to being a top 3 roster, a top 3 team in the AFC, this is the draft that has to hit. Otherwise, we're going to be having some tough conversations a year from now if this offense in particular is in the same spot, middle of the road. That's not acceptable in Kansas City. You're going to have fans having much more difficult conversations, and they have to hit on this draft. Doesn't mean that all 3 of their top 40 picks have to end up being superstars by any means, but they have to find 1, I think, star and 2 starters out of this draft for sure.
Yeah, and I think that's the part that, we said that yesterday. 3 long-term starters, 2 this year. That's why I don't want them to trade back, genuinely. It is why I don't want them to, or trade out. It's why I don't want it. I see 4 picks in the top 74, and I think, if you do the draft well, You'll find 2 immediate starters and 3 eventually. Like, the Brian Cook or the Jaden Hicks, where maybe they're not a starter for 2 years, but by year 3 or 4, you get a couple of years out of them, and in the meantime, you get some other opportunities to go with it. So, that version of it at least gives you some chance. That's why I want them to be where they are in those selections, and inevitably kind of feel like that's the way it's going to go. I'm hoping that Brett Veach has not learned a lesson like he can never trade up ever again. But this is not the year to do it. The value in the players available is good. Next year's draft is better.
But again, trading up from 29 I don't think is problematic.
I don't love it, but I can forgive it a lot more than 9.
Yeah, and at 9 I think there's no reason to move on. I really don't. We all love David Bailey, and look, I'll get excited if he's on the clock still at 6, and I'll start getting excited and thinking, oh man, that's tempting. That's really, really tempting. But I don't think, given the roster and the holes, I'm kind of with you that from 9 to 6 even, I don't really want them giving up 9 and 29 to make it happen. I think you need to take advantage of having the 3 top 40 picks. Make your pick at 9, at 29, see where things are at around pick 20. Is there someone on the board that nobody thought was going to be there that you can actually trade up and acquire? The shocker of all shocks tonight, honestly, Cody, would be if suddenly they end up only with taking one player.
Yeah.
And that, not because they trade up, but because they were at, let's say they're on 29 and they don't like, and they trade back again. Then tomorrow we're talking about them having pick 40 and 36 as well, and something else.
All of a sudden the Friday becomes, or they get a first-round pick next year, which is a hell of a draft to have 2 first-round picks.
It'll kill the buzz for this year, but there's an argument. Look what the Rams did last year. They were in a different spot as a franchise, but they got out of that first round, and look where they're at because they traded with the Falcons. They were able to go acquire McDuffie this year and still retain the 13th overall pick in this year's
draft. Or maybe it'll be one of the other ones we're talking about. They're trading pick 29 for Brian Thomas Jr. And we're not talking about a draft pick at all, and we're talking about a already known or at least somewhat known NFL player that kind of creates it.
I don't think you'll have
There's a lot of different ways it can go tonight.
Yeah, I don't think you'll have to worry. Just based on what Brett Veach said when we aired his pre-draft presser was just the thought process of staying patient and everything like that. I will say though that somebody mentions from the 402 if the Cardinals pass on Bailey and he's there at 4. I do wonder if Brett Veach has an itch, if it is the trade up itch, and he's trying he tries not to scratch it, but ultimately he just has to scratch the itch, and he does end up trading up. I wonder if it's just part of who he is, almost in a way, I suppose.
With Mike Bergonzi being the GM in Tennessee, that's a natural link, and I get it.
Yeah.
Bailey would be tempting. To me, you're doing the Titans a big favor there, because if I'm Tennessee, I'm trying to continue to accumulate picks as well. Mm-hmm. If they're not really sold on Jeremiah Love, then that to me is a great spot for Tennessee. It always sounds way better for the team that's trading back usually than the team that's trading up inside the top 10. It's very rare that you feel great about a team at 12 going to 8 or 9 going to 3. It usually works out better for the team that traded back. If you're Tennessee, you go from 4 to 9 and you pick up 29 in a rebuild organization. That's a hell of a trade for Tennessee. But this is what's fun about tonight is now we're finally going to get so many answers.
Thankfully.
To the questions. Yeah, thankfully, exactly. And tomorrow, all day on the show, we'll be talking about stuff that already actually happened and what it means for the future. But be sure to follow us on Instagram and Twitter tonight. The Fan 965 at Alex Gold at Cody B Tap. Yeah, we've got everybody in Kansas City at the Brooksider. Cody and I will be hanging out here. We'll have some fun content. Who knows what else is going to happen? If you missed it earlier on the show today, we've been in Pittsburgh for about 24 hours or so now, and Cody might still get kicked out of a bar. I almost got kicked out of an Uber. The bartender, we were at a bar last night, basically told Cody he knows nothing about liquor, which was awesome. It was really, really fun for me to watch that play out in front of everybody. It really was.
Do you guys have any plane stories? Anybody with a burrito try to sit next to Cody or anything like that?
Plane was normal. The flight from Kansas City to Chicago, Drew, no middle seat. It was an awesome flight. It was great.
Okay. Yeah.
Nobody was next to me. No, the only thing that happened when we landed in Pittsburgh, there was
some guy trying to make a mad dash to the front.
3 people from the back of the plane.
Course they did.
We immediately